Welcome to the cultivation universe where everything abnormal is normal. And today's main character, Bai Xiaochun, is living proof. A young man who fears death more than the sky falling. A genius whose main talent is causing trouble. And also the only person who can make the entire sect want to beat him, protect him, and avoid him as much as possible. A will eternal, a cultivation story full of laughter. But beneath it is the emotional journey of a seemingly useless person who carries within him a will that can shake heaven and earth. If you want a story that's addictive from the first listen, humorous, touching, and extremely captivating, then this is the perfect choice. Now let's embark on a journey where just one thought is enough to shake eternity. When Bai Xiaochun ascended the mountain, many disciples from the sect also appeared. Watching Bai Xiaochun from afar, they all knew the purpose of the visit from the 3 mid-level sects last month, and they also knew that today only Bai Xiaochun would represent the Reverse River sect to participate in the competition for the secret realm. The thought that Bai Xiaochun was the only disciple from the Reverse River sect who clearly met the requirements filled all the cultivators in the sect with sadness and unease. For the mid-level cultivation world, the Reverse River sect was an outsider. They found it strange, and it was strange to them. Without a celestial being, the Reverse River sect appeared glorious and radiant, but in reality, it lacked a solid foundation, was fraught with danger, and could collapse at any moment. This feeling of insecurity wasn't just felt by the disciples, the elders felt it too. Fortunately, the blood ancestor's body, the void evil tree, and the true spirit female warrior helped to suppress the other 3 sects. However, they only helped the Reverse River sect barely hold on for a while. Bai Xiaochun understood all of this, so even though he didn't want to, he had to agree to go. On the summit of Reverse River Mountain, Feng Shenzi, Han Zong, and Qi Han were waiting, wanting to accompany him to the secret realm. Guiya emerged from his cave dwelling, watching Bai Xiaochun, his eyes filled with apprehension, remembering the Lingxi sect of yesteryear, remembering the battle of magic he fought with Bai Xiaochun. That was the first time he had lost to someone of his generation, and since then, he had always dreamed of one day surpassing Bai Xiaochun. But somehow, he realized that Bai Xiaochun's strides were incredibly fast and long, leaving him far behind. Song Qiu clenched his fists and watched. He remembered the Eternal Sword World, the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, and many other things that followed, his eyes filled with resentment. I will definitely surpass you. The other blood disciples and prodigies were also present, their hearts pounding with anxiety. They were worried about their sex and felt the blow of not being qualified to enter the secret realm. Zhou Xinqi's breathing was ragged, Zhu Dao's eyes were bloodshot, Shen Xuanzi and Gulai were both upset, and even Lu Tianli, who hadn't made much progress in a long time, stood silently outside the cave, watching the figure. Gongsun Wanner chuckled softly. The most insane among the prodigies was Shangguan Tianyu. Shangguan Tianyu didn't want to see Bai Xiaochun, so he didn't leave his cave dwelling. Even without seeing Bai Xiaochun, he felt a gnawing unease in his heart, like being bitten by a venomous snake. He clenched his fists tightly. You worthless, ill-mannered bastard. I, Shangguan Tianyu, will definitely crush you under my feet. Bai Xiaochun and Tai Dan slowly ascended the peak of the Reverse River Mountain, to the place where Tai Dan had previously formed his golden core. Feng Shenzi and the other 2 were already waiting. Seeing his equipment, they were all stunned, exchanging glances. Han Zong coughed, saying nothing, and forcefully waved his hand. The heavenly horned sword appeared, thousands of feet long. Xiaochun, let's go! Han Zong flew onto the heavenly horned sword along with Qi Han and Feng Shenzi. Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth and flew up with Tai Dan. Tai Dan's eyes were full of anticipation. This was its first time going on a trial with Bai Xiaochun, and for it, just having Bai Xiaochun by its side was enough to make it happy. Go, Han Zong shouted softly. The heavenly horned sword, blazing with silver light, shot out like a flash of light, disappearing in an instant, leaving only the sound and a silver curve behind. Zhu Dao, Song Qiu, Guiya, all the prodigies returned to their cave dwellings to go into seclusion, determined to shorten the time to reach the golden core stage. Zhang Daopan also joined them. The central realm of cultivation is vast, beyond the unit of continents, and must be measured in regions. The region of the Reverse River sect was originally called the Void region, but now it has been renamed the Reverse region. The secret realm is quite far from the reverse region, belonging to the Dao region in a vast, boundless desert far from the Tongshan River, where the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is quite thin. For a secret realm to exist in such a place with such thin spiritual energy, it is truly a feat of creation. At this moment, in the desert, there is a small, dilapidated temple, yet it is the entrance to the inheritance land, the entrance to the secret realm. Around the temple were hundreds of enormous boulders. These boulders varied in shape and were placed haphazardly, but anyone familiar with formations would recognize that their positions concealed the transformations of heaven and earth, for they formed an extremely powerful formation. The tremors emanating from this formation were so intense that even nascent soul cultivators would be wary. Whoever arranged it must be at least a heaven-human realm expert. Outside the formation, the Star River Academy and the Extreme River Academy had arrived. Each sect had more than 20 cultivators, more than half of whom were under 60 years old, both men and women, their faces calm, yet still revealing the arrogance of those who had reached the golden core stage under 60. These were all promising talents that the two sects had invested heavily in cultivating, and Chen Yanchen was among them. The aura of the cultivators from the two sects was distinctly different. Around the Star River Academy, the void vaguely resembled a shimmering starry sky. Meanwhile, the entire Extreme River sect was filled with murderous intent. Their eyes were sharp, as if wanting to pierce through each other's bodies, and dark energy emanated from them, creating a demonic image in the air. This sheer presence alone proved that the great sect of the Central Region truly lived up to its reputation. The cultivators of the two sects suddenly looked up. They had sensed the sky shaking from afar. The heavenly horn sword broke through the air and flew towards the giant stone formation. The cultivators of the two sects also saw a lone figure sitting on the sword. They ignored the three people from the Crimson Soul sect and focused only on Bai Xiaochun. "Only one," someone exclaimed, their voice filled with astonishment and mockery. The people of the Star and Extreme sects both laughed, averting their gazes, no longer paying attention to the Reverse River sect, their hearts filled with contempt. The four sects were competing for the number of inheritance portions, so the number of participants was extremely important. The Reverse River sect only had one qualified person, so basically there was no cause for concern. It seemed that this time, the Reverse River sect would be lucky to even get one in 100 inheritance portions. The cultivators of the Star River Academy breathed a sigh of relief, their killing intent towards the Reverse River sect diminishing, replaced by contempt. Only Chen Yanchen's eyes still blazed with killing intent as he glared at Bai Xiaochun. The hatred from a month ago had caused him nightmares every day, and he had been punished by the sect. Upon returning to the sect, everyone mocked him, making his resentment extremely intense. "It's a pity that killing isn't allowed here, otherwise I would definitely kill you." Chen Yanchen stared intently at Bai Xiaochun, thinking to himself. The people of the Extreme River sect also averted their gaze, no longer interested in the Reverse River sect. To them, this was just a mission for their sect, and everyone who participated received lavish rewards. The Heavenly Horn Sword finally arrived, and the three people, Qi Han, Bai Xiaochun, and Tai Dan, landed on the ground. Bai Xiaochun stared blankly at the two sects, seeing that each side had over 20 foundation establishment cultivators, all strong and steady, and felt extremely worried. How do they have so many people? Bai Xiaochun was anxious. He was alone and had to compete with over 40 people for the inheritance seal. How could his small body possibly withstand it? The three Crimson Soul sect members frowned, glancing at the Star and Extreme sects before sitting down, showing no intention of engaging in conversation. Compared to these two sects, the Reverse River sect seemed rather weak and outnumbered. So, the qualified person from the Reverse River sect isn't just one person, but also a beast, making it 1.5 slots, Chen Yanchen suddenly said, his fellow disciples bursting into laughter. "Not just 1.5 slots. Don't talk nonsense. Look at all those runes plastered on him, and he's carrying a huge, black cauldron." The laughter grew louder. The Extreme River Institute cultivators looked at Tai Dan greedily. They had already realized that Tai Dan was no ordinary person. Tai Dan, being eyed by so many core formation cultivators, became uneasy, his scales bristling, purple flames burning beneath his feet, and he growled softly. Bai Xiaochun, already worried, became enraged by Chen Yunchen's sarcasm and the greedy stares that made Tai Dan uneasy. But anger was useless, as the Reverse River sect was far too weak compared to them. The three red souls remained silent, secretly regretting forcing Bai Xiaochun to participate. They had originally wanted Bai Xiaochun to compete for the inheritance seal because they felt that with his combat power and the treasures he possessed, even if he didn't obtain the inheritance seal, it would be very difficult for anyone to kill him. Most importantly, the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect had set a rule prohibiting deaths during the inheritance seal competition, which suited the four sects perfectly, as no one wanted their prodigy to die there. That's why the three red souls wanted Bai Xiaochun to participate. Even if he didn't gain anything, he would at least gain insight into the prodigies of his generation and acquire experience. But now, seeing Bai Xiaochun alone competing against more than 40 people, the three became hesitant. Suddenly, a tremor shook the distance, and a massive silver warship tore through the void, abruptly appearing in the air. Around the warship, countless lightning bolts ripped through the clouds, crackling and flashing. It was the strongest of the four major mid-level sects, the Dao River sect. As soon as the ship appeared, figures instantly emerged, leaping down from the ship at incredible speed. More than 40 people in total. Mid-level sects are vast, possess abundant resources, and are rich in spiritual energy, causing their number of prodigies to far surpass those of lower-level sects. 40 core formation cultivators appeared, followed by a powerful aura of pressure. The last person to leave the warship was the white-robed old man who had appeared in the Reverse River Mountain Grand Hall a month earlier. The old man glanced around, seeing only Bai Xiaochun from the Reverse River sect, and showed no surprise, merely giving a faint smile. "Please, High Sect Envoy, open the gates for our four sects to compete for the inheritance seal," he declared loudly. In the sky, clouds gathered, the wind howled, and the clouds gradually formed a pair of enormous eyes. A powerful tremor emanated from these eyes, causing the heavens and earth to change color, staring directly down to the ground. The cultivators of the three-star extreme Dao sects all stood up straight, bowing in greeting, and the three cold sects followed suit. The rules for the inheritance of the seal remain unchanged. No death is permitted. Anyone who commits murder will be utterly annihilated, body and soul. The eyes spoke, and the massive stone formation emitted a dazzling five-colored light, its oppressive power significantly reduced, allowing cultivators to enter. Open! More than 40 people from the Dao River Academy rushed into the temple. The disciples of the Star River Academy and Extreme River Academy followed suit. Bai Xiaochun, summoning all his courage, and Tai Dan also charged forward. He knew that after entering the temple, they would be teleported to a special place. There was a mountain of seals there, surrounded by formations. The inherited seals are located within that mountain, a total of 100 seals, which will fly out from the mountain one by one, swirling everywhere. People will compete to absorb them. The more they obtain, the more they absorb, and later, when fused, they will achieve different levels of cultivation techniques. Tai Dan, remember to stay close to me. There are many bad people here. Tai Dan growled softly and nodded. Bai Xiaochun adjusted his clothes and entered the temple. As soon as Bai Xiaochun and Tai Dan entered, the aura around the temple dissipated, and the giant stone formation once again emitted its oppressive power. A screen appeared in the air. On this screen were the names of people from the four sects, each name followed by dots indicating the number of seals that person had obtained. How much each sect had harvested was immediately visible. Outside the massive stone formation, the nascent seal cultivators of the three sects of the Star Extreme Dao were leisurely chatting with each other. The red-haired old man from the Star River Academy said to the white-robed old man from the Dao River Academy, his tone full of politeness, "This time, the Dao River Academy will definitely be first again. The Star River Academy probably won't be able to snatch second place from Brother Ayang of the Extreme River Academy. But we're not setting our sights too high. Third place will be fine." The red-haired old man chuckled. Brother Chu, who's second and who's third is still unknown. The middle-aged cultivator from the Extreme River Academy, whom the red-haired old man called Brother Ayang, laughed faintly. Although he said that, his expression was very confident. The three sects chatted freely, completely ignoring the three members of the Reverse River sect, including Feng Shenzi. The three members of the Feng Shenzi sect remained silent with sullen faces. The land of inheritance, the sky and earth were gloomy. The entire space was a pure gray, along with the pitch-black earth, making the whole world seem bleak. In that gloomy world, suddenly many brilliant rays of light appeared. Within each ray of light was a cultivator, and the rays of light became numerous, illuminating the entire world. Thanks to these rays of light, it could be seen that this world was not large, but in the middle stood a gigantic mountain piercing through the clouds. This mountain was very tall and huge, making humans seem as small as ants compared to it. The outer layer of the mountain had markings, originally the same color as the mountain, impossible to see, but under the light of everyone present, these markings seemed to be activated, emitting flickering light in an irregular manner. Counting carefully, the number of seals on the mountain was exactly 100. This mountain is called the Mountain of Seals. In a flash of light was by Xiaochun, beside him was Tai Dan. As soon as he appeared, he immediately activated all the runes on his body, making his whole body sparkle with dazzling multicolored light, like a shining light. He even had time to help Tai Dan activate all the runes, transforming him into a light beast. The man and the beast instantly became the most eye-catching thing, but after a glance, everyone turned away, sneering. Bai Xiaochun, already nervous, became even more frightened seeing everyone like this. There's danger here. There's killing intent. Bai Xiaochun grabbed Tai Dan, cautiously looking around. If it's a staring contest, I, Bai Xiaochun, fear no one in my life. Tai Dan, why don't you glare at them with me and let them know how powerful we are? Bai Xiaochun spoke fiercely to Tai Dan, and Tai Dan obediently followed his instructions. Whoever Bai Xiaochun glared at, Tai Dan glared back at them. A young man from the Star River Academy nearby was blinded by the light surrounding Bai Xiaochun. After a closer look, he burst into laughter. Young ancestor of the Reverse River sect, you brought all the sect's runes here. Is that enough? Do you need me to give you a few more? Yes, give me a few, Bai Xiaochun retorted fiercely. The young man from the Star River Academy sneered, turned around, and flew straight towards the Seal Mountain. Not only him, but all the disciples of the three sects rushed towards the Seal Mountain. Bai Xiaochun hesitated, stopping to observe. He saw that no one was flying, but were all gliding close to the ground, stopping when they were about 5,000 feet from the Seal Mountain. Because at that point, the Seal Mountain suddenly exploded, and lightning bolts, seemingly from nowhere, struck down. These lightning bolts were as thick as water barrels, surrounded by swirling black winds like black wine dragons, roaring and howling. The lightning and wind were truly formidable. Magical techniques appeared in rapid succession, sometimes transforming into giant hands, sometimes into sharp ice spikes, and other times into towering flames reaching the sky, accompanied by the mournful wails of ghosts. On the ground, thorny bushes suddenly emerged, and fissures appeared in the void, appearing without any discernible pattern, devouring everything in their path. Within a radius of 5,000 feet, it became a perilous area, fraught with danger. Even nascent soul cultivators would find it difficult to cross, let alone Foundation Establishment cultivators. A cultivator from the Extreme River Academy summoned a puppet, but as soon as it entered the Forbidden Zone, it was struck and shattered by a lightning bolt. Bai Xiaochun's face turned pale, and he gasped. The Jade Slip said that the area around Seal Mountain was full of dangers, but I didn't expect it to be this dangerous. That puppet, equivalent to a Foundation Establishment cultivator, was destroyed by a single lightning bolt. Bai Xiaochun trembled, hesitating from a distance. The disciples of the three sects also rushed to test their strength, and then everyone was clamoring with fear. Because it's not open at the right time, the restricted power of the Seal Mountain is stronger than before. Previously, the envoys of the upper sects suppressed and reduced its power. The disciples of the three sects noisily discussed among themselves, forming three groups, slowly moving together into the restricted area from three directions. Where there was danger, everyone would work together to cope. Explosions rang out incessantly, and the ground shook. Suddenly, from within the Seal Mountain, a bright seal flew out. The disciples of the three sects immediately looked up, intently watching the seal. As it flew and spun, it gradually expanded to a radius of 5,000 feet. Everyone rushed forward, employing all sorts of techniques to capture the seal. The cultivators of the Star River Academy created an enormous, 1,000-jang-long net of starlight, enveloping the seal. Seeing the seal being pushed towards the net, the people of the Extreme River Academy shouted loudly, their demonic energy erupting. forming a gigantic face that rushed forward to devour the Star River Academy's seal. The Dao River Academy, with the most people, emitted a special vibration from their bodies, causing the surrounding void to begin to warp. A towering giant figure emerged from the Dao River Academy's area, leaping up to snatch the seal that the Extreme River Academy was about to devour. As soon as the giant seized the seal, it instantly vanished, leaving a deep mark on the back of a Dao River Academy cultivator's hand. "It's mine," the cultivator laughed gleefully. The Star River Academy and Extreme River Academy, having their seals stolen, were angry but showed no outward signs of anger, instead smiling in celebration. Bai Xiaochun witnessed all this and finally understood the principle of robbery. The seal flew out from Seal Mountain. The closer you are to it, the greater your chance of obtaining it. "I'll just take one," Bai Xiaochun muttered to himself. He didn't expect much, just hoping to get one. That would be enough to report back. Of course, he wanted to get more, but this place was too dangerous. Bai Xiaochun led Taidan to the Seal Mountain, cautiously entering the 5,000 jam radius. A black wind dragon shot towards him. Bai Xiaochun hastily dodged to the side, constantly retreating further and further, until finally he was out of the 5,000 jam radius. And the spell disappeared. What do we do now? Bai Xiaochun was worried, not daring to go any further. Taidan also stared at him blankly. That won't do. Bai Xiaochun sighed. He tried going around to enter, but every path was dangerous. While it seemed possible to enter the Seal Mountain from any direction, that was just a guess based on visual observation. Under Bai Xiaochun's heaven-penetrating Dharma eye, he saw that his direction and that of the three sects were the only viable entry points. Going from other directions would greatly increase the danger, which was why the three sects preferred to stay close together rather than move to another area. The cultivators from the three sects were slowly advancing. The Dao River Academy, the strongest, had already gone nearly 500 feet, the Extreme River Academy over 400 feet, and the Star River Academy over 300 feet. Only Bai Xiaochun remained outside. "With my abilities alone, I can't possibly stay in there for long. There are only 2 or 3 chances." Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath and said to Taidan, "I'll rush in first, try to grab a seal, and then immediately run out. If anything unexpected happens, you run in there to save me." Taidan nodded. It also recognized the danger of that 5,000-foot wide area and was very nervous. Bai Xiaochun stared at the mountain of seals, waiting. After a while, another seal on the mountain flashed and flew out. The three sects of Star, Extreme, and Dao immediately attacked, all wanting to seize it. But this seal was too fast. In a flash, it flew past the area of the three sects cultivators. Bai Xiaochun shouted, activated the runes, activated the immortal diamond body, used the mountain-shattering charge, and even worried that his speed wasn't enough, he pressed his left toe hard, his whole body almost turning into a blur, instantly leaping into the Forbidden's area. His speed was incredibly fast. In a flash, he appeared beside the seal, almost catching it, when the people of the Star River Academy used the Starry Skynet, walking the space between Bai Xiaochun and the seal. With a loud bang, Bai Xiaochun was pushed back, the Starry Skynet sweeping away the seal. Bai Xiaochun was unwilling, but had no choice but to flee. On the way out, he was struck by a bolt of lightning, shattering half of the runes on his body before finally escaping. This is outrageous. Bai Xiaochun was furious, but at that moment, on the mountain, the seal simultaneously lit up and flew out. One was snatched by the Extreme River Academy, while the second managed to break through the three sects blockade, and Bai Xiaochun charged in again. Lightning struck, flames blazed, and the runes on Bai Xiaochun's body shattered, but it was still close to the seal, almost catching it. Get out! A shout came from above, and a powerful pressure struck. It was the giant from the Dao River Academy. This giant simply waved his hand, unleashing an extremely powerful force, intending to sweep Bai Xiaochun away. Bai Xiaochun hastily unleashed his full personal strength, using his body to resist the giant, his right hand still reaching for the seal, only 3 feet away. But the giant struck with a punch, a storm sweeping through his body. Bai Xiaochun bled, many of his protective runes and artifacts shattered. The giant's whirlwind was dispersed, but he was also hit, his whole body stiffened as if paralyzed. This giant was the culmination of everyone's strength. Bai Xiaochun alone could not withstand it. and could only watch helplessly as the giant easily snatched the seal. You don't know your own limits. The giant turned his head, looking at Bai Xiaochun contemptuously, and then rushed towards the Dao River Academy. Tai Dan roared, recklessly charging forward, biting Bai Xiaochun's clothes, and quickly retreated. But the Star River Institute's spatial net appeared, blocking Tai Dan's retreat and causing him to stop. Just then, two lightning bolts struck, hitting Tai Dan and causing him to spit out fresh blood. Bai Xiaochun struggled, his body recovering slightly, and immediately grabbed Tai Dan and ran outside. If the Reverse River sect can't take the seal, then stay outside obediently and don't come in here to cause trouble. The Extreme River Institute shouted after them. If you dare to try and steal it again, even if we have rules against killing you, if the restrictions here kill you, no one will say anything. Chen Yunshin sneered. Bai Xiaochun was struck by a lightning bolt, spitting out blood, his eyes bloodshot. This is outrageous bullying. Bai Xiaochun was furious, glaring at the cultivators of the three sects. Not only did you steal my seal, but you also harmed me and injured Tai Dan. This is your doing. Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth, took out a pill and fed it to Tai Dan, then opened his Tongshan Dharma eye to find another way in. Outside the inheritance land, nascent soul cultivators looked at the bright dots to judge the achievements of their disciples. At this moment, the dot of Dao Academy was the brightest. The dots of Xingye Academy and Ji Academy were also dimly lit. Only the dot of Nit sect remained dark. The brightness of the dot indicated how many seals had been obtained. Seeing their sect's dot shining brightest, the nascent soul cultivators of Dao sect smiled, but without any arrogance, because for them, Dao Academy being the top was a matter of course. Congratulations, fellow Taoist! It seems Dao Academy is in first place again this time. The red-haired old man of Xingye Academy laughed. But fellow Taoist of Nit sect, your achievements are not good enough, still far behind Kong Academy. Kong Academy was ranked second back then, and in the beginning, it was on par with Dao Academy. The three Crimson Soul ancestors frowned, looked at each other, and sighed. In truth, they had already decided to give up and surrender, hoping that Bai Xiaochun would at least obtain a single seal. Brother Hanzong, how about we make a bet? I bet your Reverse River sect won't get more than 2 seals this time. The red-haired old man from the Star River Academy said again. The faces of the three Hanzong became even more grim. The Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy both turned to look at them with interest. What kind of bet? Feng Shenzi raised his head, staring at the red-haired old man. I bet a piece of star meteorite that can unleash an attack equivalent to a celestial being's attack, and the largest heaven-connecting worship of the Reverse River sect. The red-haired old man from the Star River Academy looked at Hanzong, a smile on his face, but not in his heart. Hanzong's expression changed, and Feng Shenzi's eyes flashed with anger. Star meteorite was indeed a spiritual treasure, its value comparable to a heaven-connecting worship. But for the Reverse River sect, a heaven-connecting worship was extremely precious. The red-haired old man using it as a bet clearly showed he had prepared in advance. Just 2 seals, surely the Reverse River sect doesn't lack even that much confidence. The red-haired old man from the Star River Academy narrowed his eyes. Feng Shenzi remained silent, and the Crimson Soul ancestor also said nothing. Both looked at Hanzong. If they won the bet, it would greatly benefit the Reverse River sect. But if they lost, losing a heaven-connecting worship would significantly reduce the sect's combat power. Moreover, the heaven-connecting worship belonged to the Lingxi lineage, and the decision rested with Hanzong. Hanzong was also the one who understood Bai Xiaochun best among the three. Hanzong looked up at the still dim light of the Reverse River sect, remembering the many times Bai Xiaochun had created miracles. If they won the bet, it would greatly boost the morale of the Reverse River sect. But if they didn't dare to bet, they would also lose. Bet, Hanzong growled. The red-haired old man chuckled. He had already ordered his sect members that, besides stealing the seals, they must do everything in their power to prevent the Reverse River sect from taking even one. Ha! Getting one is lucky, but wanting 2. The Reverse River sect has no chance, the red-haired old man chuckled to himself. He knew that this time the inheritance land opened on the wrong day, so the restrictions were stronger than usual. With Bai Xiaochun's strength alone, he wouldn't be able to get close. The Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy both saw this bet. The two sides looked at each other, both understanding the Star River Academy's intentions. This was clearly taking advantage of the Reverse River Sect's weakness, forcing them to swallow up the resources of the Void River Academy, and at the same time further reducing the Reverse River Sect's fighting power, making it easier to devour them later. Because the Star River Academy and the Reverse River Sect are on the same border. The Star River Academy was once severely suppressed by the Void River Academy. Many things they wanted to do depended on the Void River Academy's whim. Now that the Void River Academy has perished, the Star River Academy has finally gotten rid of a powerful neighbor. In the Inheritance Land, the people of the Dao River Academy have traveled over 1,200 young, which is almost their limit. This was only possible thanks to the combined efforts of everyone to reach this point. Going any further would likely cost them their lives. The Extreme River Academy has traveled over 900 young, also their limit. Although not as far as the Dao River Academy, the Dao River Academy alone couldn't possibly obtain too many seals, nor did they possess that kind of power. So the Extreme River Academy can rest assured that they will obtain quite a few seals. The Star River Academy was the weakest, only able to travel 500 young, but even so, they were sure to obtain some seals. Enough to rank third and seize some resources from the Reverse River Sect. This time, on the Seal Mountain, more than 10 seals flickered simultaneously. Bai Xiaochun had led Taiden in another direction, quite far from the three sects, but they could still see each other. Thanks to his heaven-penetrating Dharma eye, he could see that this was nothing short of a forbidden area. As he got closer, he could see even more clearly that the area within a 5,000 jong radius had a much stronger forbidden zone than the other side of the Gate of Life. Taidan, little one, I'll take you inside to play. Bai Xiaochun glanced at the three sects and said softly. Taidan was stunned, staring at his father, then slowly shrunk to the size of a hand, and Bai Xiaochun tucked him into his chest. The Immortal Longevity Technique, combined with the power of the Heavenly Dao Golden Core, helped Bai Xiaochun shrink himself, his entire body becoming as small as a child. Bai Xiaochun pointed slightly. A flash of light appeared, and the turtle pattern cauldron appeared. You forced me to do this. I didn't want to cheat at all. Bai Xiaochun muttered, feeling very sorry for himself. He didn't want to reveal the turtle pattern cauldron, but now he had no choice. He crawled under it and covered himself with it. With the turtle pattern cauldron covering him, from a distance, he looked like a black turtle. A cheerful voice came from his storage bag. Haha, you're truly my pet, little Bai. You're so good. Your master loves you very much. This kind of sly tone could only belong to little black turtle. With a thud, it flew out and landed on Bai Xiaochun's back. Shut up! Bai Xiaochun shouted, ignoring little black turtle, and began crawling into the forbidden zone. Little black turtle laughed loudly. From a distance, the two black turtles, one large and one small, were slowly crawling into the forbidden zone, carrying each other. As soon as they entered, a thunderclap immediately erupted, its power several times greater than the previous area, striking directly at the turtle pattern cauldron. However, this cauldron was too sturdy. No matter how strong the lightning strike, it didn't faze it. Bai Xiaochun inside only suffered a slight shockwave, but he had thick skin and flesh. After cultivating the Immortal Longevity Technique and combining it with the Heavenly Dao Golden Elixir, this shockwave was nothing to him. The cultivators of the three sects stared in astonishment. Two black turtles, one large and one small. What is that? That's a turtle shell. This guy from the Reverse River Sect is really creative. I wonder where he dug up that black turtle shell from, thinking that's enough to withstand the restrictions here. Oh, it's not just one. Look, there's a small turtle on his back too. How funny. The cultivators of the three sects burst into laughter. Even the people from the Dao River Academy chuckled. The laughter was the loudest, especially from Chen Yunshin, his laughter full of contempt. Bai Xiaochun, you're the young ancestor of the Reverse River Sect, yet you're willing to transform yourself into a black turtle for the sake of a mark. Come here, let me hit you on the head, and I'll give you a mark. Deal. Bai Xiaochun snorted, thinking to himself, just you wait. The black turtle crawled in. Pitch black wine dragons swarmed down. A raging sea of fire surrounded it, and sharp ice spikes attacked relentlessly. But no matter how powerful they were, they couldn't stop Bai Xiaochun's advance. He gradually crawled over 100 feet. The mocking laughter of the three sects subsided. Everyone's eyes widened in astonishment as they stared at the two turtles, some taking a deep breath. What kind of turtle shell is that? How is this possible? The direction Bai Xiaochun is heading is a forbidden zone. The restrictive forces there are much stronger than here. Heavenly lightning strikes, flames burn, ice spikes attack. Yet that turtle shell is completely unharmed. He's speeding up. The cultivators of the three sects stared in astonishment as they discovered that after crawling for a while, seemingly becoming familiar with the surroundings, Bai Xiaochun had begun to increase his crawling speed. 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet. Regardless of the raging heavenly lightning and the booming spells, the shell remained unshaken, crawling faster and faster, now exceeding 500 feet. Impossible! Chen Yunshin shouted, unable to believe it. Not only him, but the entire group from the Extreme River Academy was stunned. They had seen at least 100 bolts of heavenly lightning strike the turtle shell, yet the turtle was crawling even faster than before. They could picture Bai Xiaochun's smug expression beneath that turtle shell. HMPH. If your Bai family were to take action, even I would be afraid, yet you dare to bully me. Bai Xiaochun was very smug. He crawled on all fours, and as time passed, 600 feet, 700 feet, reached 1,000 feet. At this distance, the people of the Dao River Academy didn't dare to be careless, yet Bai Xiaochun didn't slow down at all. It seemed everyone could even hear him singing under the turtle shell. He didn't care about thunder, lightning, raging winds, seas of fire, or ice. The people of the Dao River Academy stared wide-eyed. Three sects went mad, desperately wanting to stop him, but the area Bai Xiaochun chose was a forbidden zone with the strongest restrictions, making it impossible for them to pass. They could only watch helplessly as the two turtles crawled further and further away. 1,300 feet, 1,600 feet, then 2,000 feet, a range they could never reach. 2,000 feet. That bastard, how did he reach 2,000 feet? Doesn't that mean he'll surpass the Dao River Academy and become the first to come into contact with the seal? The cultivators of the three sects clamored, extremely unwilling. Within the 2,000-foot area, dense veils rained down on the turtle shell like rain on banana leaves. Bai Xiaochun stopped, slightly pushing the turtle-patterned cauldron to look outside. He had heard the commotion of the cultivators of the three sects in the distance, but the more commotion they had, the happier he became. Suddenly, the seal mountain trembled, and a seal flew out, spinning a few times before reaching Bai Xiaochun's area. Haha, who can compete with me now, the seal? Come here. Bai Xiaochun laughed heartily, chanting a spell and pointing at the seal. He was closest to the seal mountain, having the greatest advantage. Now that no one else was competing, he pointed, and the seal flew straight to him, burrowing into the turtle shell and disappearing. Bai Xiaochun was overjoyed. The cultivators of the three sects all saw this, their eyes turning red like rabbits, especially the people of the Dao River sect. They all went mad, urging their giants to charge in. At that moment, another seal flew out from the mountain, spun around a few times, and was also snatched by Bai Xiaochun. The three sects roared with anger. Bai Xiaochun, you want to die. That's unfair, Bai Xiaochun, you're too much, Bai Xiaochun happily sang, and waited a while longer. A third seal flew over, and he snatched it again. Bai Xiaochun was very satisfied. Let's wait here. Whichever one comes, I'll take it. Ha ha. Bai Xiaochun was extremely smug, feeling incredibly powerful. He really wanted to tilt his chin, wave his sleeve, and take out a mirror to ask the fake night burial who was the most powerful. Fortunately, he remembered that this place wasn't suitable for such things. Bai Xiaochun was extremely relaxed and refreshed, while the cultivators of the three sects were completely provoked. They all realized that if things continued like this, Bai Xiaochun would reap immense rewards, creating a miracle that would shame their sects for countless years to come. The Dao River Academy was under the greatest pressure. The 10 prodigies used every means at their disposal, making the giant figure even larger and clearer, flying over 500 feet in one go. The Extreme River Academy and the Star River Academy also fought desperately, gritting their teeth and charging forward. The three sects' momentum was overwhelming, their cultivators even bringing out their magic treasures and unleashing their divine techniques and skills, using every trick in the book. Bai Xiaochun was startled by the surging momentum of the three sects, and seeing them about to catch up to him, he became furious. I came all the way here to escape, and you still won't leave me alone. This is outrageous. Bai Xiaochun lowered his turtle shell and continued crawling. The little black turtle on his back chuckled, finding today's events quite amusing. As Bai Xiaochun crawled, he continuously collected the seals. The Dao River Academy had reached 2,000 feet. The Extreme River Academy was close behind, and even the Star River Academy had gone over 1,200 feet. This was the absolute limit for the three sects. They couldn't go any further. Watching Bai Xiaochun, they felt utterly hopeless, as he had already crawled 3,000 feet. But he was still crawling incredibly fast, 3,500 zhang, 4,000 zhang. This double difference completely devastated the Dao River Academy, bitterly disappointed the Extreme River Academy, and enraged the Star River Academy. They watched helplessly as the seals flew out one after another, only to be snatched up by Bai Xiaochun, leaving them all furious and powerless. 4,000 zhang. This can't be real, the cultivators of the three sects screamed. By this point, the Star River Academy had only managed to obtain 2 seals. The Extreme River Academy had a little more with 3, and the Dao River Academy had the most with 5. All the rest had been taken by Bai Xiaochun alone, and it would have been better if he had taken them all. Bai Xiaochun even kept counting aloud for them all to hear how many he had taken. 31, 37, 43. The entire seal mountain trembled. Never before had anyone gotten as close as Bai Xiaochun when it opened. This caused the entire mountain to shake violently, and the seals still on the mountain were all jolted. Bai Xiaochun became increasingly happy as he collected more and more seals. He glanced back at the three sects, seeing that they had all stopped far behind him, and felt extremely relieved. He decided to continue crawling forward, collecting seals as he went. 47, 53, 58. Bai Xiaochun's counting echoed incessantly. The distance to the seal mountain grew closer and closer. The cultivators of the three sects watched from afar, their hearts filled with pain, their eyes glaring at Bai Xiaochun as if they wanted to skin him alive. Shut up! Damn it, you shameless cheat! I want to kill you! Bai Xiaochun sneered, slightly raising the turtle pattern cauldron, and turned around, shouting loudly, "If you're so brave, come here and fight me! Do you dare? Come here! I'm waiting for you!" His challenge was like adding fuel to the fire, causing all three sects to roar with anger, their eyes blazing with fury. Why is no one coming? Or maybe you all come up together, and I'll fight all of you here alone, all right? My Bai family is truly pitiful. All the masters are lonely and isolated. The scenery here is beautiful, but it's a pity you don't dare come. Bai Xiaochun waited for a while, sighed, and then pointed, collecting another mark. The 59th one. Bai Xiaochun counted again, looking at the remaining distance to the mountain, thinking, what if he got a little closer? So he decisively lowered the turtle pattern cauldron and slowly approached. The cultivators of the three sects were in a frenzy, but they couldn't stay there for too long, so they had to slowly retreat, moving further and further away from the mountain. Outside the inheritance land, the light spots of the four major sects. Right after Bai Xiaochun collected the first mark, the light spot of the reverse river sect also began to flicker. The light flared up, and the three Han sect members rejoiced, their hearts filled with excitement, guessing that Bai Xiaochun had obtained a seal. Just one more, and we won't lose the bet. Chi Han took a deep breath, clenching his fists. Not far away, the red-haired old man from the Star River Academy flinched, frowning. Congratulations to the Reverse River sect. Your luck isn't bad. You've obtained a seal. I'm afraid this luck won't last long. The red-haired old man smiled outwardly, but inwardly he wasn't smiling. However, before he could finish speaking, the light from the Reverse River sect brightened even more, then continued to grow brighter and brighter, quickly surpassing the light from the Star River Academy. The three nascent soul cultivators were astonished, and the Star River Academy nascent soul cultivators gaped. How is this possible? The three Han sect members were stunned, their eyes wide with disbelief as they stared at their sect's bright light. They exchanged glances, unable to believe what they had just seen. The red-haired old man frowned, anger beginning to flare in his eyes. His disciples were truly useless. While he was still thinking about how to reverse the bet, the light spot of the Reverse River sect suddenly intensified. The light spot of the reverse river sect grew larger, shining brightly at an unbelievable speed, instantly surpassing the Extreme River Academy. The nascent soul cultivators of the Extreme River Academy changed their expressions. Very quickly, it continued to surpass the Star River Academy. The silver-haired old man of the Star River Academy jumped up, took a forceful step forward, and stared intently at the light spot. Very quickly, everyone's expressions changed drastically, unable to restrain themselves. The light spot of the reverse river sect continued to increase at a dizzying speed, startling everyone, making them unable to believe what they were seeing. Light spot of the reverse river sect had transformed into a pillar of light, shining so brightly it was dazzling. Compared to it, the light spots of the other three sects were like fireflies compared to the moon, completely crushed and overshadowed. What is this? The inheritance land's imprint. Could it be that the reverse river sect alone took it all? Impossible! The Tao River Academy, which ranked first last time, wasn't this bright. How many imprints does this represent? The three nascent soul cultivators were terrified. The red-haired old man of the Star River Academy trembled, his breathing heavy. He felt like he was seeing an illusion, not reality. Could this light spot have malfunctioned? The red-haired old man murmured, while the nascent soul cultivators of the Extreme River Academy were filled with worrying. This latest allocation of resources doesn't mean much to the Extreme River Institute because the Star River Institute made a promise to them, which is why they agreed to it. However, if this situation continues, the share they will receive will be drastically reduced, and the gains won't outweigh the losses. Overwhelmed with anxiety, they became enraged at the Star River Academy. The Tao River Academy fared no better. Its nascent soul cultivators trembled, their eyes filled with despair. If their harvest this time was significantly less than before, then their participation in the Star River Academy's plan had resulted in an unacceptable loss. The sect's heavenly ancestor would not forgive them. Impossible, there must be some kind of problem. The Star River Academy nascent soul cultivator trembled, trying to reassure everyone. All the nascent soul cultivators stared intently at the light emanating from the reverse river sect, which continued to shine at an astonishing speed. Meanwhile, the light emanating from the other three sects remained unchanged. The three members of the Han sect gaped, unable to comprehend what was happening. No one understood what was happening inside. Bai Xiaochun, what is he doing in there? Ji Han whispered, while Feng Shenzi and Han Zong exchanged bewildered glances. In the inheritance land, the disciples of the three sects were too distraught to shout. They watched helplessly as Bai Xiaochun, still under his turtle shell, continued to advance. Nearing the foot of the Seal Mountain, they all felt despair. Throughout the countless times the inheritance land had opened, no core formation cultivator had ever reached the foot of the mountain, so no one knew what dangers lay beneath, nor what would happen if someone did enter. But today, they understood that the shameless scoundrel Bai Xiaochun, with his outrageous cheating, was about to create a miracle. It's unfair. How can they cheat here? Oh heavens, open your eyes. Kill that bastard Bai Xiaochun. The cultivators of the three sects cried without tears. Bai Xiaochun had finally traversed the 5,000 Zhang area and reached the foot of the Seal Mountain. After crawling through, Bai Xiaochun paused slightly. He felt as if he had just passed through a curtain of water. He cautiously peeked through his turtle shell, sensing his surroundings, and found that there was no more lightning, no more strong winds, and no more spells. Oh! Bai Xiaochun felt strange, quickly retreated a few zhang, was struck by violent lightning, then advanced a few zhang again, and found that the attack restrictions had completely disappeared. Bai Xiaochun tried going back and forth several times, finally confirming that within a 3 zhang radius around the foot of the mountain, there was no restrictive power whatsoever. He excitedly pushed the Giwan cauldron aside, stood up straight, his body returning to its usual tall and imposing form. With his hands clasped behind his back, he flicked his sleeves and contemptuously looked down at the cultivators of the three sects in the distance. Humph, dare to challenge me. Who among you dares to come here and fight me? Bai Xiaochun. The cultivators of the three sects fell silent. If looks could kill, Bai Xiaochun's body would have been chopped into dust by now. Seeing no one answer, Bai Xiaochun sighed, assuming the demeanor of a lonely and cold master, and turned to look up at the Seal Mountain. This mountain was enormous. Bai Xiaochun stood at the foot of the mountain, yet couldn't see the summit. I wonder what would happen if I touched it. Bai Xiaojun thought for a moment, feeling that it probably wouldn't be dangerous, so he cautiously raised his hand and lightly touched the seal mountain, then quickly retreated. The seal mountain showed no reaction, and Bai Xiaojun breathed a sigh of relief. The cultivators of the three sects widened their eyes, staring blankly at Bai Xiaojun. "Nothing, I'm relieved," Bai Xiaojun whispered, resting his hand on the seal mountain, about to boast a few words. But just as his hand touched the seal mountain, a powerful roar suddenly erupted from it. The entire world trembled, and the 10 remaining seals on the seal mountain blazed brightly and flew out. The 10 seals whirled wildly, radiating brilliant light. Bai Xiaojun was startled and tried to retract his hand, but the 10 seals flew straight towards him. Bai Xiaojun couldn't dodge in time. These seals flew too fast, turning him into a magnet. They struck him, creating small explosions, and entered his body, merging with the seals he had already obtained. A section of incantation suddenly echoed in Bai Xiaojun's mind, an incomplete divine technique. The monks of the three sects who had obtained the seals trembled, cried out in pain, their bodies contorted, their skin bulged and rolled. And the seals that had penetrated their bodies were now flying out. Why is that? No, my seal. Ignoring everyone's cries of astonishment, the seals all flew towards Bai Xiaojun, entering his body, bringing the total number of seals within him to 100. 100 seals merged together, becoming one. The incomplete divine ability was now complete. Human mountain technique. Bai Xiaojun's head exploded, a divine ability method deeply imprinted in his mind. Bai Xiaojun felt that this divine ability was incredibly astonishing. Man and mountain harmonized to become Mountain Man. The man standing before the mountain is called an immortal. A voice whispered in Bai Xiaojun's ear. The voice was weak at first, but became powerful towards the end, especially the last word, immortal, as if wanting to tear open heaven and earth. At the same time, outside the inheritance land, the light streak of the reverse river sect transformed into a dazzling pillar of light, finally becoming a rainbow. This rainbow shone with dazzling brilliance, causing the surrounding void to tremble and shake. The rainbow stretched endlessly, its destination unknown, terrifying the nascent soul cultivators of the three sects. Simultaneously, the lights of the Dao River Academy, Extreme River Academy, and Star River Academy dimmed, clearly indicating that the rainbow of the reverse river sect had risen and swallowed up all the radiance of the other three sects. Impossible! A major incident has occurred. Once the seal is obtained, it is never lost. This time, it's not good. The nascent soul cultivators of the three sects turned pale, their eyes blazing as they glared at the three figures of Qi Han. The three figures of Han's sect were bewildered, unaware of what had happened inside, and suddenly felt a sense of awe and respect for Bai Xiaojun. "What trick have you?" the reverse river sect pulled. "Confess." The red-haired old man from the Star River Academy was filled with anxiety. This matter was too big. The Star River Academy couldn't withstand the wrath of the Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy. He sensed that only 3/3 of the anger of the two sects was directed at the Reverse River sect, while 7/10 was directed at the Star River Academy. So he had to change direction and drag the Reverse River sect into the conflict. But no sooner had he finished speaking than the sky exploded, and a figure shrouded in light appeared from the void, its overwhelming power causing the ground to tremble. All the nascent soul cultivators bowed their heads in greeting. "Greetings, envoy." The figure in light looked into the temple. With his cultivation, he couldn't see into the inheritance land, but that didn't matter. It was just a secret divine technique. The Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect had over 300 secret techniques, each incredibly powerful, making it impossible to distinguish which was stronger than the other. This human mountain technique, I remember it was once ranked among the top 10 secret techniques, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to cultivate. So it's been lost. It's been tens of thousands of years. Perhaps the person who suppressed this secret realm back then also cultivated this technique and left behind the method, the giant murmured, gently waving his right hand. A ripple appeared in the sky, quickly spreading in all directions, making the entire sky ripple like the surface of the sea. The human mountain technique now has an owner. Within 1 month, your 4 major sects must bring all information about this person into a jade slip and submit it to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect for registration. His voice boomed like thunder. After speaking, the luminous figure withdrew his gaze and vanished in an instant. He had come to sense the condensation of the human mountain technique. Now that he had completed his task, he had to return to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. The nascent soul cultivator from the Star River Academy slowly turned pale, unable to utter a word. He could have reported the Reverse River sect for cheating in the Inheritance Land, but now that the envoy had spoken, reporting them would be pointless. Bai Xiaochun of the Reverse River sect has obtained the complete seal and comprehended the Human Mountain Technique. The three members of the Crimson Soul sect exchanged excited glances, their backs straightening. The Dao River Academy remained silent, the Extreme River Academy bitter. The nascent soul cultivators from the two sects looked at each other, then turned to the Reverse River sect. Congratulations, fellow Taoist Han Zong. Your sect's young ancestor has comprehended the Human Mountain Technique, attracting the attention of the upper sects. He will surely rise to prominence in the future. Fellow Taoist Crimson Soul, Bai Xiaochun is truly extraordinary. No wonder you were able to reach the middle ranks before. It turns out it was because of this. Bai Xiaochun, when I saw him in your sect years ago, I knew he was a dragon among men. The two nascent soul sects vied with each other in flattery and praise, implying that they wanted the Reverse River sect not to completely follow the rules and take all the resources. This little brat Bai Xiaochun is a bit unruly. We don't know what the situation is like in the Inheritance Land right now, and we're very worried. The three quick-witted members of the Han sect immediately understood. Now they didn't need to demand the Starfall Stones. Naturally, the Extreme River Institute and the Dao River Institute would speak up on their behalf. The three shrewd individuals, without mentioning the distribution of resources, brought up the safety of Bai Xiaochun. The Dao River Institute and the Extreme River Institute understood immediately. Even if we can't get the information inside, it will be difficult to get it out. But rest assured, Han Taoist friend, once the distribution of the seals is complete, within the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, everyone inside will be informed. The three Han sect members felt relieved and joked with the two sects. The people of the Star River Institute turned pale and remained silent, unnoticed by anyone. In the Inheritance Land, because Bai Xiaochun had obtained all the seals, all the surrounding restrictions and spells automatically disappeared. Bai Xiaochun was still immersed in the Human Mountain Technique in his mind when he was nudged by Taidan, startling him awake. He saw that the restrictions around him had vanished, and the cultivators of the three sects in the distance were glaring at him with furious eyes. The restrictions are gone. Bai Xiaochun trembled, instinctively stepping back, terrified by the gazes of the three sects. Fellow Taoists, we are all mid-level sects. We are all one family. Seeing their fierce eyes, Bai Xiaochun quickly tried to explain, but the cultivators of the three sects had nothing, slowly advancing, the ferocity in their eyes making him tremble. You're not allowed to kill here. Don't get emotional. Don't get emotional. Bai Xiaochun recoiled, realizing that some of them wanted to beat him up to vent their anger, while others coveted the turtle pattern cauldron and wanted to steal it. Damn it, why did this restriction suddenly disappear? Bai Xiaochun was on the verge of tears, continuously retreating while explaining, fellow Taoists, you all belong to different sects. I'm alone, and obtaining the seal was due to luck. Victory and defeat depend on one's own talent. Please calm down. I really didn't do it intentionally. Bai Xiaochun's breathing quickened. Several people had already calmed down. The matter was over now. Fighting wouldn't do any good, but the anger in their hearts hadn't dissipated. Seeing that it was effective, Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that he shouldn't provoke these people any further. If they went berserk and killed him, even though they would be punished, his own life would be gone too, and it wasn't worth it. Just as they were about to continue their persuasion, the little turtle suddenly jumped up, leaping onto Bai Xiaochun's head. Bai Xiaochun was startled, and before he could catch it, the little turtle shouted loudly, "It seems you all didn't understand. Let me explain it to you on behalf of my master." To put it simply, his meaning is that you all are a bunch of fools, lacking in skill, yet daring to compete for Bai Xiaochun. If you have any ability, then stop muttering and get out of here. These words were very loud, further enraging the cultivators of the three sects. The people of the Star River Academy went berserk, with Chen Yanchen being the first to rush forward. Kill Bai Xiaochun, let's all attack together, kill him. With so many of us, the sect won't be able to find out who did it. That cooking pot is a supreme treasure. Kill him, maybe if he dies, the seal will fly out again, and we'll get it back. Although everyone knew the chances of Chen Yunshen's words being true were slim, they were all furious, so they roared and rushed towards Bai Xiaochun. "That's not what I meant." Bai Xiaochun cried out miserably, hastily fleeing. He wasn't stupid. He knew that even with the immortal diamond pill and the heavenly Dao golden pill, he was no match for dozens of prodigies. Bai Xiaochun hated the little turtle intensely, but he had to save his own life first. He ran for his life, with dozens of prodigies chasing after him. Yet, the little turtle still shouted at the pursuers, "A bunch of stupid chickens, weaklings, if you're so good, come here. My master can fight 100 of you alone. Come here, if you have the guts, come and fight my master. You shut your mouth." Bai Xiaochun was furious. He reached up, grabbed the little turtle, and threw it towards the pursuers behind him. "Kill it to vent your anger. It said that, not me," Bai Xiaochun yelled. The little turtle was thrown at incredible speed, hitting a cultivator from the Star River Academy in the face. The cultivator lost several teeth, cried out in pain, and staggered back several steps. A black turtle image appeared on his face, complete with 4 legs, head, tail, and shell exactly like the real thing. The little turtle swooped back onto Bai Xiaochun's body, boasting loudly, "How about that? Isn't my turtle master amazing? Humph, even a demigod couldn't erase the mark of my turtle master if it hit you. Haha, kid, from now on, your face will forever bear the mark of my turtle master." The monk, his mouth dripping with blood, hurriedly wiped his face upon hearing little turtle's words, but painfully realized he couldn't wipe it away. Filled with both anger and worrying, he roared and continued his frenzied pursuit of Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun was terrified. If there was only one opponent, Bai Xiaochun would readily turn around and face them head-on. If there were 2 or 3, Bai Xiaochun could still put up a fight. He was confident in his physical strength, believing that 2 or 3 cultivators of the same realm wouldn't be enough to kill him. But now, there were dozens of them, all brimming with killing intent. How could he possibly win? The more Bai Xiaochun thought about it, the more he hated Little Turtle. Little Turtle wasn't unaware of Bai Xiaochun's hatred, but it was delighted, constantly cheering excitedly. "Ha ha ha! Come here, a bunch of weaklings. If you have the guts, come and fight my master." "Shut up! It's all your fault!" Bai Xiaochun roared. He didn't dare throw the little turtle away again. Damn, that guy with the black turtle mark on his face was still furiously chasing after him. Bai Xiaochun could only run headlong. Behind him, countless colorful spells flashed, fire, ice, vines, lightning, flying swords, all frantically attacking him. The power of these spells was naturally not as great as the forbidden spells, but their sheer number combined to create a terrifyingly powerful destructive force. Moreover, Bai Xiaochun couldn't use the turtle mark cauldron to feign death. The forbidden spells couldn't lift the turtle mark cauldron to attack him, but those people behind him, they had hands. "It's over, the Seal Mountain is over. Why hasn't the teleportation opened yet? If they don't teleport, I'm dead for sure." Bai Xiaochun groaned, the shouts and curses echoing behind him. "Bai Xiaochun, don't run, weren't you so arrogant just now? Why have you turned into a rabbit? Humph, you challenged us earlier, and now we're giving you a chance. Stop and fight us to the death." Dozens of core formation cultivators transformed into dozens of streaks of rainbow light, chasing after Bai Xiaochun. The cultivator from the Star River Academy with the little turtle mark on his face was the most furious. He had tried many ways to erase the black turtle mark but failed every time. Everyone around him looked at him with strange expressions, struggling to restrain themselves. Therefore, this cultivator was the one shouting the most fiercely. "Bai Xiaochun, I must kill you. Boom, boom, boom." Bai Xiaochun dodged the flying swords gliding through the sea of fire, but was still struck by several lightning bolts. The iron egg in his chest tried to burst out several times, but Bai Xiaochun kept pressing it back in. "Don't leave, there are bad guys here." Bai Xiaochun, relying on his thick skin and sturdy build, ran headlong. This inheritance land wasn't very large, and at everyone's speed, they had already circled it in no time. The pursuers were not only incredibly patient, but also shrewd and intelligent. Seeing that they still hadn't teleported, they split into 3 groups, surrounding them from 3 different directions. Bai Xiaochun yelled, "You're forcing my hand. Little turtle, come out." Bai Xiaochun shouted. Little turtle, already waiting, excitedly roared with delight, and in a flash, appeared in Bai Xiaochun's hand, which he threw forcefully behind him. The speed of the little turtle, a core formation cultivator, was impossible to dodge. With a thud, it landed squarely on the face of a burly man from the Extreme River Academy on the right. The man let out a pained cry, staggered back, spitting out fresh blood, several teeth broken, and looked up to find a black turtle-shaped mark on his right cheek. It had a head, a tail, 4 limbs. Very lifelike. The burly man was startled, instinctively raising his hand to wipe, but couldn't. He then turned to the cultivator from the Star River Academy who had also been struck by the little turtle, as if seeing himself reflected in it. His eyes turned red, he roared to the heavens, and in a bloodthirsty frenzy, chased after Bai Xiaochun. Driven by rage, the burly man's speed increased dramatically, surpassing everyone else and rushing to Bai Xiaochun's side. Bai Xiaochun, die for me! The burly man swung his hand, and a demonic hand vaguely appeared behind him. Demonic energy filled the sky as the demonic hand stretched out to grab Bai Xiaochun. As it flew towards him, the demonic hand continuously grew larger, quickly becoming several hundred feet long. As the demonic hand flew towards him, Bai Xiaochun also swung his hand, and a purple cauldron appeared, striking the demonic hand with great force. Both the purple cauldron and the demonic hand shattered, and a shockwave swept across, causing the burly man from the Extreme River Academy to spit blood. Bai Xiaochun, however, was unharmed, but his heart burned with anger, and he roared loudly. Little turtle! Little turtle excitedly jumped into his arms. Bai Xiaochun flashed, instantly appearing behind the big man, and slammed the black turtle down. Here's another one for you. Bai Xiaochun slapped little turtle on the other side of the big man's face, then on his chest, slapping him more than 10 times in a row. The big man continuously spat out fresh blood, having to use his life essence pill to retreat. When he looked back at Bai Xiaochun, his madness had been replaced by terror. He now had dozens of black turtle-shaped marks on his body. Come here! Bai Xiaochun shouted, about to boast a few words, when dozens of spales rushed towards him, lightning, fire, and swirling winds merging together, the void twisting. Bai Xiaochun trembled and quickly retreated. As he retreated, the void where he had just stood exploded, shattering into pieces. How dare you? You think you can outnumber me? If you have the guts, come fight me one by one. Bai Xiaochun unleashed his immortal longevity technique and hastily fled, taunting as he ran. To deal with a shameless person like you, we'll all attack together. Even if we get punished for killing you, we're not afraid. Chen Yanchen quickly spoke up, reinforcing everyone's killing intent. Chen Yanchen. Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth. That guy had been constantly confronting him from the beginning, and Bai Xiaochun had already harbored resentment. He threw out the little turtle, hit him in the mouth, shut him up. The little turtle excitedly flew away, instantly appearing in front of Chen Yanchen. Chen Yanchen's expression changed. He tried to dodge, but his speed was no match for the little turtle. With a loud thud, the little turtle hit him directly in the mouth, sending his teeth flying out. He screamed miserably as he was thrown backward. Bai Xiaochun. Ignoring the turtle-shaped mark on his face, Chen Yanchen chanted a spell, and a screen of starlight appeared, boosting his speed as he charged straight at Bai Xiaochun. Get back here! Bai Xiaochun roared softly, activating the mountain-shattering strike, his speed skyrocketing as he charged forward to engage Chen Yanchen in battle. Both moved with incredible speed. Bai Xiaochun raised his left leg, his thumb piercing Chen Yanchen. Chen Yanchen cried out in pain, his body contorting as he was flung away. Golden threads, like a forbidden spell, appeared on his body, penetrating and sealing him. You don't know your own limits. Just one toe from me, Bai Xiaochun, is enough to kick you away. Bai Xiaochun's left shoe ripped, his toe exposed, surrounded by shimmering golden threads. He arrogantly patted his clothes, changed his shoe, coughed, and continued his escape. Chen Yanchen's face was pale, his body trembling, blood gushing out. His cultivation was sealed, rendering him unable to move, and all he could do was roar. Fellow Taoists of the Star River Academy, set up a formation to kill Bai Xiaochun. Fellow Taoists of the Extreme River Academy and the Tao River Academy, if this man doesn't die today, how will we ever escape this humiliation? The cultivators of the Star River Academy and the other two sects looked at each other, then unleashed their cultivation, and a starry sky net appeared, flying towards Bai Xiaochun. The net's speed was incredibly fast, much faster than before. At the same time, the Extreme River Academy was shrouded in demonic energy, and a huge flying tower appeared. The flying tower roared ferociously, radiating immense pressure, and flew towards Bai Xiaochun. The Dao River Academy cultivators were not to be outdone, and their giant also attacked. The starry Skynet flew first, followed by the flying tower, and the giant was last, the three sects pursuing him with all their might. Bai Xiaochun was terrified. "Are you serious? It's just a small matter, but why are you using all your strength to kill me?" Bai Xiaochun shouted, pushing the immortal longevity technique to its limit, his heavenly Dao golden core erupting completely, accelerating rapidly. Although he was fast, the combined power of the three sects' divine abilities was naturally even faster than him. In a flash, the starry sky net enveloped him. Bai Xiaochun bled profusely. Fei Lu, arriving just in time, spewed out a blast of icy demonic energy, causing Bai Xiaochun's entire body to stiffen, the blood from his mouth turning into ice. The giant continued to approach, striking with a punch. Boom! Bai Xiaochun spat out shards of ice mixed with blood, his body flying outwards as if torn apart, his hair disheveled. He gritted his teeth, potted his storage bag, and threw a handful of elixirs behind him. These elixirs carried various bizarre effects, exploding one after another. Bai Xiaochun hastily fled into the distance. "Damn it, why haven't I been teleported yet? Ancestor, my life is about to end." Bai Xiaochun's eyes welled up with tears. "What are you afraid of with me here? You just need to throw me out. It's just a Dharma manifestation, isn't it? My turtle family has destroyed countless of them already." Little Turtle scoffed. "You're going too far." Bai Xiaochun waved his hand, and Little Turtle was thrown out again. Boom! Little Turtle instantly appeared in front of the giant of the Dao River Academy, flying straight through without any hindrance, charging towards the Dao River Academy cultivators. This time, Little Turtle struck a female disciple of the Dao River Academy. This female disciple originally had an ethereal and otherworldly aura. Although she was now filled with killing intent, her face was still exquisitely beautiful and captivating. Yet, with just a pop, a black turtle-shaped mark appeared on her face. The woman cried out in pain, trembling as she retreated. Seeing the strange looks from those around her, she panicked, quickly pulled out a mirror, and after a quick glance, shrieked mournfully, "Bai Xiaochun, I'll kill you." In a frenzy, she lunged at Bai Xiaochun, but he was incredibly fast, thick-skinned, and extremely agile. Her agitated state also affected the giant formed by everyone's combined efforts. Seeing the effect, Bai Xiaochun happily threw the little turtle again. Bang! 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 Bai Xiaochun relentlessly threw the little turtle, and those chasing him were repeatedly struck chests, stomachs, backs, and buttocks. The black turtle-shaped mark was terrifying. Even when it hit their clothes, it pierced through them and imprinted itself on their skin. Moreover, the mark glowed, as if afraid people wouldn't see it. Therefore, no matter how many layers of clothing they wore, they couldn't stop the little black turtle from marking them. One female disciple had it marked on her chest, and she was so heartbroken that she wanted to commit suicide, because everyone could see a black turtle image flashing brightly on her chest. Even though some people used protective artifacts to block it, it was all ineffective. The terror of the little black turtle drove everyone mad. The combined magical techniques and divine abilities they used were constantly being shaken and threatened to shatter due to their unstable mental state. "You're so many. I can't defeat you all, but I can make you all vomit to death." Bai Xiaochun was initially terrified, thinking that this little black turtle was incredibly harmful, but then he realized that those people were all chasing him. So he turned his anger into resentment. "Hey, little black turtle, are you sure your mark can't be erased?" "Of course, rest assured, even a demigod can't erase it." Little Turtle, feeling arrogant, became excited when he saw that there were still a bunch of people behind him who hadn't been marked by his imprint. "Fine, it's because they were the ones who went too far first, so don't blame me." Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth, grabbed the little turtle, and threw it towards the cultivators who hadn't yet been marked. Those people hesitated, thinking that the mark couldn't possibly be erased. At most, they could use some special methods to remove it after returning. If that didn't work, there were still the elders in the sect. In short, it was definitely fine, so they continued to chase Bai Xiaochun, showing no intention of stopping. Thus, after everyone had the black turtle mark, The divine techniques and spells they had created shattered. The starry Skynet disintegrated first, then the flying tower, and finally the giant of the Del River Academy. A group of cultivators with the black turtle mark continued to chase Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun, I swear, I will kill you. Damn it, if I don't kill you, I won't bear the Liu surname. Bai Xiaochun was exhausted, but his counterattacks were as sharp as ever. His counterattacks, whether he used them himself or the little turtle, were maddening. Fortunately, the time for teleporting out of the inheritance land had finally arrived. The teleportation beam shone down, forcing everyone to retreat one by one. If they didn't enter the teleportation beams within the time limit, they wouldn't be able to get out, and the sect wouldn't be able to rescue them. Therefore, everyone had to stop chasing and killing, glaring at Bai Xiaochun with eyes that seemed to want to skin him alive. Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief, looking at the glittering black turtle marks, feeling a sudden sense of pride and arrogance. Hemph, who told you to provoke me? If I take action, even I will be afraid. Little Turtle looked at everyone with satisfaction and arrogance. Its smugness was even stronger than Bai Xiaochun's. Outside the temple, beyond the giant stone formation, the nascent soul cultivators of the four sects waited anxiously for a long time, finally seeing the flashing teleportation beams. And disciples of the three sects appeared one by one. These disciples, some with black turtle marks on their faces, others on their bodies, left the nascent soul cultivators stunned. One nascent soul cultivator was about to ask when a flashing teleportation beam appeared, and Bai Xiaochun rushed out at incredible speed. He instantly arrived at the three Han sect members, shouting loudly, "Murder! Murder! Ancestor, save me! They wanted to kill me! I almost died!" As soon as he finished speaking, the disciples of the three sects went berserk again, disregarding the presence of their elders, and swarming towards Bai Xiaochun. "Bai Xiaochun, I'll kill you!" They all jostled and roared, dozens of cultivators rushing forward, startling even the nascent soul cultivators. The three Han sect members frowned. To dare to plot against Bai Xiaochun right in front of them, one could imagine the extremely dangerous situation Bai Xiaochun must have faced in the inheritance land. HMPH, Chi Han snorted, stomping his foot on the ground, a whirlwind rising and sweeping away the cultivators of the three sects. Bai Xiaochun is our young ancestor of the Reverse River sect. Who dares to kill him? Chi Han glared, his aura overwhelming. Although the cultivators of the three sects were all prodigies, they were only at the core formation stage, no match for Chi Han, and were all suppressed, trembling. Bai Xiaochun, hiding behind the three Chi Han, felt deeply moved, realizing that the time he had spent facing life and death in the inheritance land was worthwhile. Del River Academy, G River Academy, Crossing River Academy, give my Reverse River sect an answer. Han Zhong's expression was somber as he looked at the three nascent soul cultivators. Feng Shenzi pulled Bai Xiaochun up, placed a hand on his shoulder, and checked his injuries. However, after a moment, he gave Bai Xiaochun a strange, profound look. Bai Xiaochun understood immediately, his face turned pale, and he cried out, biting his tongue hard and spitting out blood. "They are very cruel. They want to kill me." Bai Xiaochun, on the verge of death, clutched his chest and pointed at the cultivators of the three sects. Seeing this, the cultivators of the three sects suppressed anger flared up again. In the inheritance land, Bai Xiaochun, with his thick skin and rocket-like speed, no less than a six-legged rabbit, had taken several blows from them, yet remained unharmed, still laughing and joking happily. And now he was injured as soon as they mentioned it. "Bai Xiaochun, one cultivator roared, but before he could recount the events, he was rebuked by the silver-haired, silver-robed old man of the Del River Academy. "Shut up!" The thunderous roar echoed, causing the disciples to tremble and fall silent, instantly regaining their composure. "This matter will be resolved within a month, and our Del River Academy will provide the Reverse River sect with a reasonable explanation. Three fellow Taoists, we have already discussed this matter. We hope that after you return, you will quickly negotiate and give us an answer." The old man with silver hair forced a strained smile, glanced sideways at Bai Xiaochun, and with a flick of his sleeve, led the Del River Academy disciples away. He completely ignored the black turtle markings on the disciples' bodies. The nascent soul cultivators of the Extreme River Academy also said a few words, promising an answer, and so on. Before leaving, finally, the red-haired old man from the Star River Academy left. His expression indescribably grim, he glared resentfully at the Star River Academy disciples, turned to flee. But Feng Shenzi blocked his way. Fellow Taoist, you must deliver the Starfall Stone within a month. It's just a Starfall Stone. I wouldn't change my mind. The red-haired old man didn't turn around, snorted, and led his disciples away. The 3 Han sect members turned to look at Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun clutched his chest, his face pale, looking pitifully at the 3 ancestors. Ancestors, you 3 don't know. I was in a terrible state in there. I almost didn't get to see you 3 again. The young ancestor of the Reverse River sect will have to be replaced by someone else. The 3 Han sect members were both amused and exasperated. Chi Han spoke up. How did you manage that? I don't know. As soon as they saw me, they immediately rushed forward to beat and kill me. It hurt so much. Bai Xiaochun said, but Han sect quickly coughed. We're asking about the seal. The seals, I'm not exaggerating. I just went in there, and when those seals saw me, it was like they saw the head of destiny. They all rushed towards me. I couldn't even shoo them away. It gave me a headache. Bai Xiaochun boasted, patting his chest proudly. But after saying that, seeing the 3 ancestors silent, he felt uneasy, not knowing what had happened, and hesitantly inquired. So I've made a contribution, right? I've taken all the seals, and a toy called the Human Mountain Technique even appeared in my head. The 3 Han sect members looked at each other and burst into laughter. They didn't care how Bai Xiaochun obtained the seals, because no matter what, Bai Xiaochun was still a member of the Reverse River sect. Not just a contribution, you've made a great contribution. Feng Shenzi laughed loudly. Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this, his smile becoming even more smug. Let's go, we'll return to the sect. Han Zong was filled with excitement, looking at Bai Xiaochun with immense admiration, and led everyone to fly onto the sky-piercing warship, returning to the Reverse River sect. On his way back to the Reverse River sect, Bai Xiaochun realized he had just rendered an immense service, one so great it was beyond description. He had helped the sect seize all 10 cities' resources, meaning the other 3 sects had to return all the resources they had previously been allocated to the Reverse River sect within a specified time frame. This was a rule set by the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, and since they were the initiators of this inheritance land, they had to comply. Furthermore, the Reverse River sect had also won a Starfall Stone. All of this significantly strengthened the Reverse River sect. Everything in the world hinges on resources, and the Dao River Academy and Extreme River Academy were no exception. Even retaining only a portion of the resources was a far greater advantage than the Reverse River sect's current situation. The most important thing for the Reverse River sect now was to acquire celestial beings. With sufficient resources, the advancement of the 3 Crimson Soul sect members to celestial beings would be well within their reach. Only then could the Reverse River sect gain the right to speak in the middle reaches of the cultivation world. Bai Xiaochun wasn't familiar with the negotiations and calculations with the other 3 sects. Leaving it to the 3 old foxes of the Han sect was the best option. You don't need to worry about those things. Your most important task right now is to comprehend the Human Mountain Technique. It's one of the 300 secret techniques of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. If you successfully cultivate this Human Mountain Technique, it will give you incredibly powerful combat abilities. Han Zong kept urging him, and Bai Xiaochun hurriedly returned to his room on the warship. He began to examine the Human Mountain Technique in his mind, only to find that the cultivation conditions were extremely harsh and difficult. It required cultivation in special places, and such places, according to the information, were only suitable in a place called Heijian Cliff within the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. Bai Xiaochun was frustrated, but helpless. He left the room and unexpectedly saw the Reverse River sect's mountain gate in the distance. The blood ancestor's body stood tall. The void-dwelling evil tree exuded a gloomy aura, and from mountain ranges, like for intertwined dragons, formed the Reverse River sect. Not long after Bai Xiaochun left, the entire Reverse River sect knew where he had gone. Everyone fell silent, waiting for the outcome. They had all prepared themselves for the worst, though in their hearts, everyone hoped for a miracle. But now, Bai Xiaochun and the 3 ancestors had returned, and the news of the Reverse River sect seizing all 10 resource cities and crushing the 3 sects had spread, causing the entire sect to erupt in excitement. When the warship returned, the entire sect erupted in thunderous cheers. Senior Brother Bai is mighty. The young ancestor's fists can conquer the Star River. His feet can crush the extreme river, invincible in the world. The Thunderous cheers greatly excited by Xiaochun. They're shouting my name. Bai Xiaochun excitedly tugged at Han Zong's sleeve. Han Zong quickly cleared his throat, didn't reply, pulled his sleeve back, and returned to Reverse River Mountain with Feng Shenzi and Qi Han. Bai Xiaochun hurriedly flew out, seeing the entire sect erupting in cheers, shouting his name. He thought he shouldn't act cold and arrogant, but rather be amiable and approachable to make everyone happy. So he enthusiastically flew straight towards the area with the most disciples. For the next few days, Bai Xiaochun constantly boasted about his experiences in the Inheritance Land, releasing various versions that spread throughout the Reverse River sect. In every version, he portrayed himself as a heroic figure, majestic and extraordinary, single-handedly suppressing countless others. Bai Xiaochun became the most revered person. He merely smiled at a certain female disciple, who was so overwhelmed that she fainted. Bai Xiaochun felt that life was truly beautiful, as if the sky and the sun were smiling at him. Tai Den also benefited from the good fortune, and every day he was seen strutting around, showing off his prowess. It wasn't until half a month later that things gradually calmed down, and Bai Xiaochun regained his composure. Remembering the events in the Inheritance Land, he became even more focused on his cultivation. I need to be stronger. Bai Xiaochun began his seclusion, cultivating the Cold Gate cultivation technique and the immortal body. The Cold Gate cultivation technique was incredibly profound. Bai Xiaochun had to go to Han Zong to get even a little clue. Using the method to condense cold, using cold to nourish the mind, Bai Xiaochun closed his eyes, following the incantation, transforming the drop of the Tangshan River within him into ice. As time passed, cold air began to appear around him, continuously spreading, covering the cave dwelling and Bai Xiaochun himself with a layer of white frost. After several days, Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes, feeling that he had understood the essence of the Cold Gate cultivation technique. First, condense the cold, then cultivate the mind cold. Bai Xiaochun raised his right hand, looking at his fingers. A layer of white frost slowly appeared on them. The cold energy is still not enough. According to the classification in the Cold Gate cultivation technique, cold energy is divided into 4 levels: lower cold, middle cold, upper cold, and extreme cold. Lower cold, condensing cold energy into an image, a method of creating ice. Middle cold, instantly freezing an area of 1,000 feet. Upper cold, everything within 10,000 feet must turn into ice, becoming a frozen mirror, creating a doppelganger image. Extreme cold is freezing the Tangshan River within a certain range. Bai Xiaochun's eyes were filled with anticipation, imagining that the scene of him freezing the Tangshan River, even if only a small area, would surely terrify everyone. Right now, I haven't even reached lower cold yet. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath, knowing that this couldn't be rushed. He had to slowly allow himself to dissolve the water of the Tangshan River, accumulating cold energy. This cold energy would be absorbed into the Heavenly Tao Golden Core, turning it into a world of ice. At that point, he would have reached the peak of the Golden Core realm. I wonder when that will be. Bai Xiaochun shook his head, but he wasn't in a hurry. His lifespan was now over 1,000 years. There was no need to rush. So he switched to cultivating the immortal muscle, focusing on the second toe of his left foot. After cultivating, Bai Xiaochun pondered the Reverse River Pill. He had now grasped the refining process, but he hadn't found a way to solve the problem of life force. He had tried many times, but without success. The main issue was his inability to condense life force from the water of the Tangshan River. It's probably because my cultivation level isn't strong enough to condense life force from the water of the Tangshan River. Bai Xiaochun shook his head, pondered for a long time, and decided to shift his focus back to obtaining life force from the outside. He glanced at his storage bag and thought of a place that could provide abundant life force. That was Little Turtle. With its immortal and indestructible nature, life force wouldn't be a problem, but he feared Little Turtle wouldn't obediently listen. So Bai Xiaochun prepared the materials to refine a super great and aesthetic potion. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If Little Turtle successfully swallowed the potion, everything would be fine. But if it failed, or if he was discovered, then, given Little Turtle's temperament, he would definitely face revenge. What a headache! Bai Xiaochun sighed, thought for a long time, gritted his teeth, and began refining. Now that the three sects had brought resources, including many lost spiritual herbs, he had to go and plunder them. While Bai Xiaochun was cultivating and refining medicine in the middle reaches of the cultivation world, although the three sects tried their best to keep it secret, the events in the inheritance land were too significant and leaked out, spreading rapidly throughout the entire middle reaches of the cultivation world. When it was learned that the Reverse River sect, with only its young ancestor Bai Xiaochun participating, had crushed dozens of geniuses from the three sects, obtained all the seals, and even been granted the human mountain technique, the entire middle reaches of the cultivation world was shaken. Everything related to Bai Xiaochun, from the moment he was born until now, was thoroughly investigated. At the age of 15, he ascended the mountain, joined the Lingxi sect, swore to protect his fellow disciples in the Luochun mountain range. Ranked first in the trials on both the north and south banks, was a prodigy in alchemy, infiltrated the bloodstream sect, became a blood sen, then a blood ancestor, and during the Great War between the two sects, single-handedly brought them together, devouring the Zhuangxi and Dangxi, becoming the young ancestor of the Reverse River sect. Each of his achievements dazzled and terrified people, yet unexpectedly, all of this happened to Bai Xiaochun. In a short time, the name Bai Xiaochun became resounding and glorious throughout the middle reaches of the cultivation world. However, what people have uncovered is what the Reverse River sect currently wants to reveal to outsiders. Previously, the Reverse River sect completely concealed this. At the same time, another event also shocked the central region of the cultivation world. In the inheritance land, all the golden core cultivators of the three sects were branded with a black turtle mark on their faces or bodies. This mark looked incredibly lifelike, even glowing at night. No matter how many layers of clothing or protective artifacts they wore, the light couldn't be concealed, making it clearly visible to everyone. This became a major event because the three sects had tried everything, but no one could remove the mark. Even nascent soul cultivators had tried, but all failed, causing a sensation even among the heavenly human ancestors. The most shocking thing was that the heavenly human ancestors of the three sects also tried, but ultimately had to admit defeat, which is why this news spread throughout the entire cultivation world. Those foundation establishment cultivators were all heartbroken and hated Bai Xiaochun even more. They all decided to go into seclusion, not daring to go outside, for the black turtle mark was worse than being killed. Bai Xiaochun's black turtle mark became incredibly famous and terrifying. No one dared to provoke him anymore. The Dao River Academy, the Extreme River Academy, and the Star River Academy all successively approached the Reverse River sect. After negotiations, except for the Star River Academy, which the Reverse River sect refused to compromise on, the Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy successfully negotiated. Although they were also subjected to many demands from the Reverse River sect and had to sign some restrictive agreements, they still did not have to relinquish too much of the resources they had previously taken. Both sides took a step back and yielded to each other. This result also made the relationship between the Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy with the Reverse River sect more harmonious. After all, there was no real animosity between the two sides, only a slight instinctive aversion to outsiders. However, this incident significantly reduced that aversion. Only the Star River Academy was not allowed to be lenient with by the Reverse River sect, because if the Star River Academy were spared, the demand for redistribution of resources would continue to arise. Because the Reverse River sect held the upper hand, coupled with the oppressive rules of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, the Starry River Academy had no choice but to endure. Not only having to surrender all its resources, but also having to pay the Starfall Stone wager. The relationship between the two sects became one of enmity. The Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy were delighted by this. They were both cunning old foxes, understanding that the Reverse River sect was trying to prove to everyone that they were not afraid of war, while simultaneously reassuring the Dao River Academy and the Extreme River Academy, showing them the strategy they wanted to see. However, all of this had no effect on Bai Xiaochun. After plundering the sect's resources, he immediately went to find medicinal herbs. The Reverse River sect did not refuse any request from Bai Xiaochun. He obtained some rare spiritual herbs that had once been listed as lost to create an anesthetic. Bai Xiaochun began his secluded practice of refining medicine. During the process, he also trained himself to make his words and thoughts completely different. This was all to deceive Little Turtle. This refining process lasted a month. One day, Bai Xiaojun excitedly looked at two white pills, about the size of a fingernail, and was extremely thrilled. The pills didn't look like they were of any particular grade, but if you held them close and inhaled their scent, you would feel your pores open up and relax, feeling incredibly comfortable. Just like a rare and precious elixir. This was because during the refining process, Bai Xiaojun had used a very precious herb to coat the outside of the pills, making them look smooth and fragrant, making them incredibly tempting. And inside, it was a truly unparalleled aphrodisiac. Bai Xiaojun examined the elixir, inhaling deeply, thinking about how to deceive Little Turtle. The usual method certainly wouldn't work, and he also had to guard against Little Turtle's revenge later. Bai Xiaojun pretended to whisper, "This spiritual medicine is precious, rare in the world, and must taste incredibly delicious. I really can't bear to eat it. Maybe I should save it for the most important moment, so it won't be a waste of all the lost immortal herbs I used to refine it." Indeed, two pills, peerless spiritual medicine. Bai Xiaojun carefully wrapped the two spiritual medicines, placed them in a small bottle, and sealed it with many layers of seals before putting it in his storage bag. After sitting for a while, he looked worried again, hurriedly taking them out to examine them. Seeing that there were still two pills left, he tightly pressed them against his chest, pacing back and forth, seemingly still uneasy. Gritting his teeth, he added several more layers of seals before putting them back in. For several days afterward, he took it out countless times, checking to see if any pills were missing, checking every so often that it took about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn out. After a few days, he reduced the checking time to once every hour, and after a few more days, Bai Xiaojun fixed it to once every 2 hours, carefully checking it with a look of fascination. "Haha, little turtle, if you still have a bit of curiosity, you'll definitely be captivated by my trick. And then haha." Bai Xiaojun muttered this to himself every time he opened the medicine bottle. 10 days later, he opened the bag again to check, and with just a glance, he was startled. One pill was missing. Bai Xiaojun hastily tried his best to control his excitement, fearing that this was the little turtle probing, so he pretended to be surprised and terrified. Opening his storage bag wide and frantically searching, but after searching for a long time, he couldn't find anything. Bai Xiaojun opened his third eye, using all his strength, even bringing out the power of his heavenly Tao golden core. Bai Xiaojun's third eye emitted a purple light, searching every nook and cranny of the cave dwelling. Finally, in an area at the edge of the storage bag, he saw the little turtle, shrunk to the point where it was invisible to the naked eye. The storage bag could store things because it had its own space, and within this space there were areas invisible to the naked eye. Bai Xiaojun had searched those areas before but found nothing, but now he had found the little turtle. Little black turtle was unconscious, its head sticking out stiffly, its limbs and tail also sticking out, motionless. Bai Xiaojun chuckled gleefully, knowing that he had found little black turtle because it was unconscious. Otherwise, even the all-seeing Dharma eye wouldn't have been able to see it. He carefully pulled little black turtle out. As soon as it was out of the storage bag, little black turtle immediately swelled back to its normal size. Bai Xiaojun immediately grabbed it and shook it vigorously, its head, tail, and limbs banging against its shell. Bai Xiaojun looked up at the sky and laughed loudly, shaking it with all his might to get revenge on little black turtle. "You dare scold me. You dare bring the crocodile here. You dare provoke the toad. You caused me to be chased and killed." Bai Xiaojun cursed, then shook his hands vigorously, and a fragrant scent, which Bai Xiaojun hadn't smelled in a long time, began to emanate from the little turtle. This scent brought back memories and emotions to Bai Xiaojun. Looking at the little turtle, fearing it might suddenly wake up, he immediately took out the alchemy furnace, threw the little turtle inside, poured in a lot of water from the Tangshan River, concentrated his energy, and began to refine the reverse river pill. Time was of the essence. He didn't know when the little turtle would wake up, and he was worried about its future revenge, so this time, Bai Xiaojun's alchemy speed increased unprecedentedly. 3 days later, the entire alchemy furnace glowed a deep crimson. After a loud explosion, the lid flew open, and the little turtle flew out, releasing a nearly transparent pill that seemed to possess sentience, attempting to escape. The moment the pill emerged, the sky above the reverse river sec completely transformed. Winds rose, clouds swirled, and a lightning tribulation appeared. A massive bolt of lightning struck Bai Xiaochun's cave dwelling, causing it to explode. Bai Xiaochun quickly grabbed the little turtle and threw it into his storage bag, activating his heaven-penetrating Dharma eye to chase after the pill. The sect's nascent soul cultivators had all flown out, bewildered and terrified, unsure of what was happening. After all, anything that could trigger a lightning tribulation was certainly no small matter. Ancestor, set up the formation. I've refined the reverse river pill. It's alive and trying to escape. Bai Xiaochun roared anxiously. Han Zhang trembled, his eyes wide, and he shouted loudly, his cultivation spreading out, suppressing all directions. A monkey appeared from nowhere, moving at incredible speed, surpassing Bai Xiaochun and chasing after the pill. The ancestors rushed in, and the pill was finally caught by the monkey, while the lightning tribulation was also dealt with by the nascent soul cultivators. This is 3-breath pill. The monkey excitedly held the pill to its nose and sniffed. It's all right, even if it's only a 3-breath pill. It's still useful. The monkey took a deep breath, looked at Bai Xiaochun with admiration and gratitude, and then darted away. Bai Xiaochun was annoyed. He had refined the pill himself, so he should at least get a glimpse of it, but instead it was just taken away. He turned to look at Han Zhang, who was about to grumble when a terrifying pressure descended from the sky, and a voice boomed like thunder, causing all the cultivators in the sect to tremble with fear. How interesting! I've just arrived at the Reverse River sect and already encountered a pill that generates a lightning tribulation. Following the descending sound, a young boy in a red robe appeared in the sky, descending step by step. The closer he got, the more intense the pressure of heavenly power became. The Tongshan River rippled, and the grass bent underfoot. The Han sect members looked at the boy with apprehension. The Dongxi tree trembled slightly. Heavenly being, Han sect members whispered. In the vast cultivation world of the eastern region, only one person had ever reached the heavenly being realm in the form of a young boy. This person was one of the 5 great heavenly beings of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, Li Yuantia. Greetings, Senior Li. The 3 Han sect members bowed respectfully. Bai Xiaochun was tense. This was his first time encountering a heavenly being. The heavenly power was truly immense, suppressing the entire world. His heart pounded, and he couldn't help but steal a few glances, feeling that this boy, though not as tall as himself, was incredibly powerful. The young man, with a smile that wasn't quite a smile, glanced at Bai Xiaochun without saying anything, then lightly waved his sleeve. Han Zhang, you 3 lead the way to the main hall. I have something important to announce. Han Zhang and the other 2 respectfully led the way, guiding the young man to the main hall of the Reverse River Mountain. The other nascent soul cultivators followed, and the entire Reverse River sect fell silent, apprehensive about the heavenly human Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect's purpose in coming. Bai Xiaochun was even more nervous. He felt the young man's expression when he looked at him was very unusual. He returned to his cave dwelling, opened his storage bag, and, seeing that the little turtle was still fast asleep, felt relieved. He carefully put it back in its original place. This way, even if it wakes up and discovers something, I can deny knowing anything, Bai Xiaochun muttered, his gaze returning to the main hall with apprehension. In the main hall of the Reverse River Mountain, the young disciple Li Yuantia sat high above. The 3 Han Zhang disciples stood below, and the other nascent soul cultivators were outside the door. You're Reverse River sect, and I have a bit of a connection. This Void River Academy was also dealt with by me in the past, reducing its fighting strength, the young disciple said casually. So now, naturally, I'm stepping forward to inform you of some of the rules of the Middle Cultivation World. In the Middle Cultivation World, under my Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, there are 4 major sects. Each major sect periodically sends an important member of their sect to our sect as a hostage. I've come this time to take your Reverse River sect's hostage back to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. The 3 Han Zhang disciples' expressions changed, and they suddenly looked up. A hostage! Han Zhang was stunned. This was the first time he'd heard of such a thing, but on second thought, it seemed natural. The 4 sects were essentially vassals of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. We will definitely choose someone to be a hostage as quickly as possible. Feng Shenzi took a deep breath. He knew that the heavenly being had arrived, and this was something that couldn't be refused, nor was it possible to refuse. No need to prepare. I have already chosen someone. It's Bai Xiaochun. The pupil remained calm, causing Hanzong and the other to jump in surprise. At the same time, the pupil also spread his divine consciousness, sweeping across the reverse river sect. Except for the place where the true spirit female disciple was, which he dared not provoke, he could see everywhere else. However, he hadn't sensed the old monkey's appearance earlier. Oh, this girl has a truly special physique. She also be a hostage, you can announce that. Each hostage can bring a maximum of 5 other disciples of the same generation from the sect as guardians, and they will all go to our Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect to cultivate. The young man waved his hand slightly and a woman's face appeared before everyone Gongsun Waner. The 3 Han sect members secretly groaned. They didn't care about Gongsun Waner, even though they didn't know anything about her physique and aptitude, but they all cared about Bai Xiaochun. Senior. Feng Shenzi hesitated. Want to refuse. Before Feng Shenzi could finish speaking, the young man coldly stared at Feng Shenzi, making him shiver. Senior, there's something you don't know. Although Bai Xiaochun is the young ancestor of our sect, his character is bad, and he's definitely not an ideal hostage for you to choose. I'm worried he'll cause trouble if he comes to your sect. Han Zong quickly spoke up on his behalf. That's right, Senior. This Bai Xiaochun is not only unruly, but also very fond of alchemy. Every time he practices alchemy, he causes trouble, from plagues to acid rain, wreaking havoc everywhere, causing chaos throughout the sect. If he comes to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, he'll probably become another source of disaster. Chi Han chimed in. The young man smiled. These things are nothing serious. My Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, which can accommodate the entire Eastern lineage, surely can accommodate a core formation cultivator. He's unruly and troublesome, but so what? Does he have the power to bring down my Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect? He likes alchemy. My Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect has the best alchemy furnaces, the best spiritual herbs, and the best alchemy grounds. All alchemy problems can be solved. Rest assured, although Bai Xiaochun is a hostage, he is still a disciple of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. That's the decision. Don't say anything more. All of you, leave. I'll borrow this place for 3 days. After 3 days, bring your people here, and I'll take them back to the sect. The young man waved his hand, and the 3 Hanzong disciples were gently pushed out the door, which then closed. The 3 Hanzong disciples could only look at each other helplessly. We have no choice. Time is of the essence. The female disciple is fine, but as for Bai Xiaochun, Brother Han, you go talk to him. We'll also go back and find some disciples to accompany him as his guardians. Feng Shenzi sighed. Bai Xiaochun's departure pained him greatly, as he was the blood ancestor. His departure meant a heavy loss for the bloodstream lineage. We get to bring guardians, right, although we can only bring people of the same generation. It's still an advantage. As long as Bai Xiaochun chooses, no one is allowed to refuse. I'll go inform them. Qi Han gritted his teeth. Han Zong's frowned and walked towards Bai Xiaochun's cave dwelling, telling him everything. A hostage, going to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. Bai Xiaochun's eyes widened, staring blankly at Han Zong, the word hostage buzzing in his head. He remembered reading in ancient texts that being a hostage was miserable for everyone, and the thought of being alone in a strange place already made him feel unsafe. Wouldn't it be better to stay at the Reverse River sect? Here, he had a noble status, countless female disciples admired him, and he was respectfully greeted wherever he went. But going to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, the mere thought of it made his future seem bleak. Bai Xiaochun knelt down and hugged Han Zong's legs. Ancestor, I don't want to go. I can't bear to leave you all. This is my home. I don't want to leave. I just rendered meritorious service to the sect. I am the young ancestor. For the past few years, whenever the sect faced danger, I stepped in. I saved people in the Luochen mountain range. I made a name for myself in the Still Sword Abyss. And I infiltrated the Bloodstream sect and the Reverse River sect, all of which I contributed to. Ancestor, I don't want to go. Bai Xiaochun wailed. I can't bear to leave you. I can't bear to leave my fellow disciples. Tell someone else to go. I think Shangguan Tianyu is a very good candidate. With a hostage like him, what's there to fear about heaven and earth not accepting him? Or Songqi would also be fine. Whatever the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect lacks, I'll provide it. And there's also Bei Hanli and Zhu Dao. They're all good candidates. If all else fails, then choose Chen Manyao. Sending her away would also be considered attacking the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect, right? Han Zong sighed, looking at Bai Xiaochun, and said softly, Xiaochun, if I had a choice, I certainly wouldn't let you go. Bai Xiaochun suddenly looked up, his face full of sadness as he looked at Han Zong. Do I really have to go? You really have to go, but you can take a few people with you as your protectors, and besides, you're not leaving forever. You'll come back later. This place will always be your home. Han Zong patted Bai Xiaochun's head, his eyes filled with reluctance. Xiaochun was utterly dejected. His whole body slumped, staring at Han Zong until he confirmed that Han Zong wasn't joking. Then he sighed. Heavens, why did you make me so outstanding? Even the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect insists on not choosing anyone but me. Han Zong, who was feeling sorry for Bai Xiaochun, coughed after hearing this, suddenly feeling that Bai Xiaochun going to the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect might actually be a good thing. And quickly said, okay, prepare yourself. You'll leave in 3 days. Take this token. I'll give you a privilege. You can choose up to 5 people to accompany and protect you. After saying that, Han Zong threw Bai Xiaochun a token, turned to leave. But just as he lifted his foot, he reminded him again. Remember, there are a maximum of 5 people. More than that is not allowed by the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect. Bai Xiaochun sighed helplessly, watching Han Zong leave. He stood on the ruins, staring blankly at them, and the next morning, he sighed again. Well, if the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect is so eager for me, I'll have to go. Bai Xiaochun was troubled, racking his brains trying to decide who to take with him. Let's forget about Taidan. The Starry Sky Dao extreme sect is a strange place, very dangerous. In a strange place, the most important thing is information, Bai Xiaochun muttered. This person not only has to be strong, but also skilled at gathering information, able to learn everything about the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect in the shortest time possible. Even if it's just rumors, they have to investigate thoroughly. This requires a lot of talent. Su Baotsai. Bai Xiaochun slapped his thigh. The first person he thought of was Su Baotsai. Back in the Lingxi sect, Su Baotsai was very good at gathering information. He knew about the most beautiful women in the Lingxi sect and even created a ranking. Bai Xiaochun even remembered that Su Baotsai had a small notebook where he wrote down everything that happened. He'd rather write it by hand than use a jade slip for authentication. This shows how persistent he is. If not him, then who else would I choose? Bai Xiaochun chuckled, thinking that in the reverse river sect now, Su Baotsai was like a fish in water. He knew all kinds of rumors, whether true or false, like the back of his hand. Whatever he wanted to know, he just had to go to Su Baotsai. Bai Xiaochun immediately rushed to the Lingxi mountain range to Su Baokai's cave dwelling. As soon as the two saw each other, Su Baotsai cried out in sorrow, Uncle Bai, I'm reluctant to leave you. I heard you're going to the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect as a hostage. With you leaving this time, I don't know when we'll see each other again, Uncle Bai. Take care, Su Baotsai said, his voice filled with reluctance. Your information is so well informed. Bai Xiaochun was surprised. He had only heard about it last night, and he didn't expect Su Baotsai to know as well. Of course, in the entire Reverse River sect, there's nothing Su Baotsai doesn't know. No matter where it is, as long as I, Su Baotsai, want to know, I can find a way to uncover any secret, Su Baotsai said proudly. This was his most achievement, and he wouldn't allow anyone to doubt it. But Uncle Bai, rest assured I, Su Baotsai, will definitely help you spread your word and make your name known to every new disciple, Su Baotsai said sincerely, feeling very pleased with himself. Previously, all the female disciples in the sect had their eyes on Bai Zikun, which had frustrated him for a long time. He felt that with Bai Zikun around, he had no chance of finding a partner, especially since the women he liked were envious of Bai Zikun, which made Su Baotsai extremely frustrated. So today, upon hearing that Bai Zikun was going to the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect, Su Baotsai was extremely excited. Bai Zikun, hearing this, patted him on the shoulder with great sincerity. Good brother, I was originally hesitant because going to the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect is a very unfamiliar place. I originally intended to endure it alone, not to implicate the other brothers, but you said this, and I understand. Ah. Su Baozi stared at Bai Zikun in surprise, feeling something was amiss, but Bai Zikun preempted him. I need a protector who can gather information for me, and that's you. Su Baozi trembled, his eyes wide, hastily refusing. Uncle Bai, my cultivation is low. I only need you to gather information, not high cultivation. Bai Zikun waved his hand dismissively. I'm clumsy. It doesn't matter, wherever we go, as long as you, Su Baozi, want to know. Any secret can be unearthed. That's enough. You still have passion, too. I still remember the blood letter from that year. Don't refuse so quickly. I know you can't bear to leave me, and you're attached to me. It's decided then. Bai Zikun smiled. Seeing Su Baozi's face turn pale and about to refuse again, he pulled out the jade slip from the Han sect and flashed it in front of Su Baozi. The ancestor's token. Su Baozi took a deep breath, feeling embarrassed and on the verge of tears. Knowing he couldn't refuse anymore, he stood there with wide eyes, filled with extreme regret. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. Come on, Zibao, you're very familiar with the sect. Can you help me analyze it a bit and see who we should bring along to be able to stand firm there? Bai Xiaojun put his arm around Su Baokai's shoulder. He chuckled. Su Baozi gritted his teeth. Bai Zikun's words implied he wanted to add someone else to the trap. We still need a fortune teller, someone skilled in divination, and with sufficient cultivation, so that he can predict any danger early, and will be safer. I've chosen someone, the divine calculator of the bloodstream lineage. Su Baozi said resentfully. He had some conflicts with the divine calculator, having been glared at several times. He even had a female disciple he liked snatched away by the divine calculator. But unfortunately, his cultivation wasn't as good as the divine calculator's, so he harbored resentment. Therefore, the first person Bai Zikun wanted to drag into the trap was naturally the divine calculator. You're absolutely right. We really do need a fortune teller. Bai Zikun nodded, immediately dragging Su Baozi to the bloodstream lineage to find the divine calculator. As soon as they arrived, they saw the divine calculator with his luggage ready, standing outside his cave dwelling looking at the sky, waiting for them. You've arrived, the divine calculator said softly, his demeanor that of an otherworldly sage. I calculated long ago that I would have a lifetime destined to be spent in exile for many years. Recently, my intuition has intensified, and with the arrival of the senior from the sect, I vaguely sensed that this lifetime had arrived. The divine calculator tilted his chin in annoyance, his otherworldly gaze fixed on Bai Xiaojun and Su Baokai. No matter where you go, I will go with you, because this is my lifetime, my destiny. Seeing the divine calculator's expression, Su Baokai took a deep breath. You really calculated it. Bai Xiaojun couldn't believe it either, looking at the divine calculator suspiciously, circling around him. His gaze made the divine calculator nervous, suddenly remembering Bai Xiaojun's terrifying nature. HMPH, can you calculate where I'm about to strike you? Bai Xiaojun asked curiously. The divine calculator's expression changed, cursing Bai Xiaojun inwardly. He knew Bai Xiaojun meant what he said. If he said he would fight him, he would definitely do it. So he quickly changed his dignified and virtuous demeanor back to his usual obsequious and sycophantic self, smiling broadly. I was just joking with the young master actually. Last night, Ancestor Feng Shenzi came here and told me to get ready. If you came looking for me, I had to obey. I was so excited about following you, young master, that I couldn't sleep all night, so I got up early to prepare my luggage and waited here for you. The divine calculator slyly said. Bai Xiaojun laughed, patting the divine calculator on the shoulder with a smug expression, as if to say, of course I'm smarter than you. The divine calculator was both amused and exasperated. In the Reverse River sect, besides the ancestors, the person he feared most was Bai Xiaojun. Afraid that Bai Xiaojun would bring up the past, he quickly said, young master, in my opinion, Su Baokai and I are not enough. We still need someone who can go out and fight. They must be capable of fighting to protect us safely, so naturally their cultivation must be good, and most importantly, they must have strong potential for development. The divine calculator said seriously. Su Baozi nodded repeatedly beside him, and Bai Xiaojun also nodded in agreement. We don't know how many years we'll be staying at the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, so we have to choose carefully. Ideally, someone who can achieve the golden core stage soon after joining us. The divine calculator continued. You're absolutely right. Bai Xiaochun smiled. Young master, I have a suggestion. Among Sungqiu, Guya, Judao, and Bei Han Lai, who do you think is the most suitable? Seeing Bai Xiaochun's cheerful demeanor, the divine calculator breathed a sigh of relief. All of these people meet the requirements. It's really hard to choose, but Sungqiu is my nephew. So I naturally have to prioritize family for such a good opportunity as going to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. Bai Xiaochun thought for a moment. The divine calculator and Su Baokai exchanged glances, their expressions strange, but they dared not say much, hastily praising Bai Xiaochun for his protectiveness of the younger generation. Songqiu was thus confirmed to be leaving, but the three did not go to find him. Instead, they summoned a disciple of the bloodstream lineage and instructed him to inform Songqiu. I can take 5 people with me, but now I only have 3. I still need a trusted confidant. Bai Xiaochun immediately thought of Zhang Dapan. Senior brother is the person I trust the most, naturally the best candidate. The Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect is unfamiliar, but it's also a leading sect. Perhaps it will be a stroke of good fortune for senior brother. Bai Xiaochun waved to Su Baokai and the divine calculator, telling them to get ready. They would leave in 3 days. He then transformed into a rainbow and departed. After he left, Su Baotsai and Shen Xuanzi exchanged bitter smiles, completely bewildered about the future. When Bai Zikun arrived at Zhang Dapan's cave, Zhang Dapan was refining spirit swords. Bai Zikun waited outside for a while before Zhang Dapan came out. Seeing Bai Zikun, he smiled and proudly shook a flying sword in front of him. Look, through rounds of spirit sword refining. Bai Zikun looked at the flying sword, secretly thinking that Zhang Dapan truly had a talent for spirit sword refining, and showered him with praise, making Zhang Dapan overjoyed. Tell me, what are you doing here? As long as I, Zhang Dapan, can do it, I won't frown, Zhang Dapan said proudly. Bai Zikun hesitated. He thought that going to the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect might be a stroke of luck for Zhang Dapan, but staying at the Reverse River Sect was certainly safer. So, after hesitating for a while, he told Zhang Dapan, letting him decide for himself. Zhang Dapan's eyes lit up as he pulled Bai Zikun's hand. Go, we must go, the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. That's the source sect. I heard my master say that the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect is the only place in the entire Eastern cultivation world where you can refine your spirit 15 times. There are also inherited cultivation techniques specializing in spirit refinement there. Japan, you must take me with you. Bai Zikun breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, senior brother, 3 days from now, I'll wait for you outside the main hall of the Reverse River Mountain. Bai Zikun returned to his cave dwelling, thinking about who to choose as the last person. Little sister Ho and Song Junwan. Or, there's one more place. I can only take one of them. What should I do? Taking either one wouldn't be good. After thinking for half a day without success, Bai Zikun simply stopped thinking and closed his eyes to cultivate. Late at night, he opened his eyes, looked around, and sighed. I'm reluctant to leave. Bai Xiaochun shook his head, then suddenly startled, raising his head to look into the distance, focusing his will on one direction. There, the void twisted, and a slender figure silently appeared, walking towards him. A fragrant breeze struck his face. The person who arrived was Chen Manyao. She was dressed in pure black, incredibly alluring. Her silky hair fluttered gently, her clear, lovely eyes exuding charm to the extreme. Why are you looking at me so fiercely? Chen Manyao murmured softly, her voice as smooth as silk, sweet and gentle, making the listener feel a burning sensation. Bai Xiaochun frowned. He was always wary of Chen Manyao. What is it? Bai Xiaochun asked coldly. Is there nothing I can't come to see you about? Chen Manyao glared at him resentfully, about to retaliate, but suddenly recoiled, seeing Bai Xiaochun's third eye open on his forehead. This purple eye possessed a power that sent shivers down Chen Manya's spine. She felt as if she were being controlled, slowly floating into the air, a button on her dress coming undone. Bai Xiaochun's third eye closed, and Chen Manyao returned to normal, cold sweat beading on her forehead. Instinctively, she took a few steps back, her face turning pale. I am not the kind of person you think I am. Let me ask you again. What do you want? Bai Xiaochun mimicked Song Quest's tone of voice when speaking to others, not only perfectly but even better. Chen Manyao took a deep breath, no longer daring to be reckless, and bowed respectfully. I humbly request that the young master grant me the last remaining spot. No, you may leave. Bai Xiaochun refused immediately. Young master, please allow me to explain something. With me by your side, you can always contact the savage wilderness and know everything you want to know. Moreover, the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect has a warship that can travel directly to the savage wilderness. If you agree, I'll share some secrets of the savage wilderness with you. I also know a lot about the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. I can. Chen Manyao tried to persuade him, but before she could finish, Bai Xiaochun waved his hand, and a gust of wind swept her away. Bai Xiaochun, there's a clue about Du Lingfei in the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. Lead me there, and I'll definitely help you find her. Only I can do it, because I'm from the savage wilderness. The assassins in the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect only know me, not you. I swear on my life, I will definitely help you find her. Chen Manyao hurriedly spoke, the wind paused, but then continued to swirl, carrying her down from the reverse river mountain. Chen Manyao was worried about whether she would succeed, when Bai Xiaochun's cold voice rang in her ears. 2 days later, the main hall of the reverse river mountain. Bai Xiaochun looked up at the sky. If Chen Manyao hadn't mentioned it, he would have thought he'd forgotten that name. His heart was filled with complex emotions. He didn't know what his feelings for Du Lingfei truly were. It seemed that apart from the incident in the Luochen mountain range, they had no other connection. Perhaps I also need to know the answer and the truth. Bai Xiaochun muttered that a day quickly passed. Only one night remained. Bai Xiaochun had used up all 5 quotas. During the day, he had bid farewell to Song Zhengwan and Ho Xiaomei, his heart heavy with sorrow. At 3 o'clock tonight, Han Zong suddenly appeared silently. He looked at Bai Xiaochun and coughed softly. Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes, saw Han Zong, sighed, and turned away. Xiaochun, you will leave tomorrow. There are some things I must tell you. This is a collective decision of mine, Feng Shenzi Qihan, and the Dengxi lineage. Han Zong ignored Bai Xiaochun's reaction, sat down, and said, I knew your purpose in cultivation is to achieve immortality. In fact, we all aspire to immortality, which is why we strive to cultivate. But there are some things in this world that are even more important than immortality. You probably don't understand it yet, but when you reach my age, you will understand. For cultivators, lifespan increases from cultivation level. Foundation establishment adds 100 years, Golden Core adds 500 years. But do you know, once you achieve nascent soul, your lifespan increases by at least 1,000 years. Calculate how long you can live if you become a nascent soul cultivator. Han Zong looked at Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun initially intended to ignore Han Zong, but the topic Han Zong brought up was his greatest aspiration and the thing he was most fixated on, so he couldn't help but start calculating. After much deliberation, Bai Xiaochun figured that if he achieved nascent soul, he would live for at least 2,000 years, which greatly excited him. 2,000 years. Bai Xiaochun licked his lips. He hadn't counted it, but now that he did, his desire to become a nascent soul cultivator had intensified. This is just the normal state. If there were some special methods involved, plus the addition of spiritual medicine, your lifespan would increase several times over. Unfortunately, it would come at a great cost. Although it wouldn't restrict your cultivation, there would still be a fixed time before you die. You can't achieve eternal life, Han Zong said softly. Bai Xiaochun looked up at Han Zong. You know, cultivators progress step by step from Cha condensation to foundation establishment, then from foundation establishment to golden core, and then from golden core to nascent soul. This is a winding and bumpy path, and there are always people pushed off that path. 100 Cha condensation cultivators only produce 1 foundation establishment cultivator. 100 foundation establishment cultivators only produce 1 golden core cultivator. That's already considered lucky, and nascent soul cultivators in our Lingxi lineage, over the years, including those who have died, we've only produced less than 10. Tell me, is it difficult to achieve nascent soul? Han Zong sighed. Achieving nascent soul is difficult, and to survive until then, one must overcome countless dangers. Either death or achieving nascent soul cultivation. Even in the middle stages, the success rate is extremely low. Bai Xiaochun remained silent. He knew achieving nascent soul was very difficult. Even with his Heavenly Tao Golden Core, it only meant his chances of success were slightly higher than others. Xiaochun, being a hostage of the Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect, although you'll lack freedom and won't be as free as you were in the Reverse River Sect, this is a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. The Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect is a top-tier sect with extremely abundant spiritual energy, powerful cultivation techniques, and spiritual medicines and elixirs that are incomparable to those in the middle ranks. You can absolutely utilize the resources of the Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect to increase your chances of achieving nascent soul. Bai Xiaochun knew Han Zong wasn't deceiving him, and he also knew that if he were in the Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect, his chances of achieving nascent soul would definitely be greater than here. With his own Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, he wouldn't dare say it was 100% certain, but at least he had a 70% chance. Thinking this, the worrying in Bai Xiaochun's heart lessened considerably. If you achieve nascent soul in the Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect, you'll be admitted to the Elder Council, have a voice and power. Even if you're a hostage, so what? At that time, that status won't be an obstacle. It might even become a powerful backing for you. Then, you'll be able to provide even more support to our Reverse River Sect. Bai Xiaochun sighed. Ancestor, I think your cultivation is a waste. You should have become a negotiator. Han Zong laughed, patting Bai Xiaochun on the head. I haven't finished speaking. Don't interrupt. Xiaochun, achieving the nascent soul stage, like Foundation Establishment and Golden Core, is also divided into 3 types. The first type is the simplest, but also the most risky, with the highest failure rate and a limited number of attempts. Each failure results in a loss of lifespan, and it's achieved by using nascent soul pills. Han Zong's expression turned serious. This is the lowest grade method. Even if you later advance to the heavenly human stage, you'll only be the weakest and most common type of heavenly human. Han Zong shook his head. The second method is to use the 5 elements heavenly beast soul. The so-called heavenly beast soul is a ferocious beast equivalent to the heavenly human realm. After their death, their souls already contain all 5 elements, so using it can help a cultivator enter the nascent soul realm. Nascent soul cultivators of this type are stronger and have a high chance of achieving the heavenly human realm later. Bai Xiaochun was shocked, remembering the 5 words 5 elements heavenly beast soul. He never imagined that achieving the nascent soul realm would require the assistance of a heavenly human beast soul. The third method. Han Zong's eyes became frantic. Bai Xiaochun also felt nervous. This third method is legendary. Do you know that in this entire world, only one person has ever achieved it? Because this method is extremely difficult, it requires the 5 elements heavenly human soul. The so-called heavenly human soul is the soul of a heavenly human realm cultivator. After death, their soul possesses a unique characteristic. The 5 elements are incomplete. Each heavenly human soul only has one of the 5 elements. Therefore, to achieve this legendary feat, one must collect 5 different heavenly human souls. If one obtains them, they will become an invincible nascent soul cultivator of the same realm. 5 heavenly human souls. Bai Xiaochun found this unbelievable. Heavenly humans are extremely rare. In the entire middle reaches of the cultivation world today, there are only 3 such individuals. Even including the Starry Sky Tao Extreme Sect, the number wouldn't exceed 10. Therefore, achieving a 5-element heavenly human soul is practically impossible. Throughout history, the number of heavenly humans has been limited, so after a heavenly human dies, their soul is considered precious. This is almost impossible to achieve. Hence, it's called a legend, Han Zong said softly. The ancestor just said that only one person can do it, and that person is. Han Zong looked up at the sky. Heavenly Venerate! Heavenly Venerate! Bai Xiaochun was stunned. The strongest cultivator in the Tongshan world, ruler of the 4 great sects. Residing on the Tongshan Island in the Tongshan Sea all year round, Heavenly Venerate. The world is not allowed to reveal his name because revealing it will lead to his discovery, so you can only call him Heavenly Venerate. Han Zong reminded him softly. According to legend, he, the old man, achieved the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, Heavenly Tao Golden Core, and 5 elements Heavenly Human Soul Nascent Soul. Ascending all the way to the Heavenly Tao, you've been in contact with the savage wilderness, so you must know the status of a Heavenly Venerate. Bai Xiaochun remembered the old man in the savage wilderness and the words he had said. Now, putting them together, he finally understood. If the four veins of the heavenly river were taken as a territory, and all the sects that flourished from the heavenly river became government offices, then the heavenly venerate would be the emperor. Bai Xiaochun fell silent, and Han Zong also remained silent. After half a day, Han Zong stood up, holding a green peach-shaped object in his right hand. This peach-shaped object was as green as jade, but inside, a wisp of soul, sleeping soundly, could be seen. There was no vibration whatsoever. It was only visible to the naked eye. If one used divine consciousness to observe, nothing would be discernible. Bai Xiaochun was stunned. This is... Han Zong looked at the peach-shaped object in his hand, then at Bai Xiaochun, his eyes filled with anticipation. Zikun, you have paid a heavy price for the Reverse River sect. The Reverse River sect is fortunate to have you. But the Reverse River sect is too small to help you any further. I and my fellow Taoists have discussed this and decided to give you this unique heavenly human soul of the Reverse River sect. Han Zong's voice was calm, but to Bai Zikun's ears, it sounded like thunder. Heavenly human soul. Bai Zikun's eyes widened. A heavenly human soul, perhaps there isn't a second one in the entire Reverse River sect, or even the middle reaches of the cultivation world. This heavenly human soul was obtained because the Lingxi lineage was once a Han sect. This, for the first time, Bai Zikun hesitated to reach out and accept the treasure. Its value simply astonishing. The capital was originally meant for you. It's just that we're giving it to you a little earlier than planned. Don't feel pressured. The 5 elements heavenly human soul nascent soul is just a legend. It's enough that you know about it. If you fail, this portion of the heavenly human wood soul will help you exchange it for a complete portion of the 5 elements heavenly beast soul in the Starry Sky Tao Extreme sect. In short, we've paved the way for you to form a nascent soul. Han Zong smiled kindly. Bai Xiaochun trembled, remaining silent for a long time before bowing low. Thank you, ancestor. All right, everything that needed to be said has been said. Early tomorrow morning, we old men will come to the main hall of the Reverse River Mountain to see you off. Han Zong patted Bai Xiaochun's shoulder, his expression one of encouragement and anticipation, then turned and left. Under the moonlight, the old man's figure disappeared into the distance. Bai Xiaochun put the heavenly human soul into his storage bag, his heart unable to calm down, deeply moved by the sect. When the first rays of sunlight shone upon the Reverse River sect, Bai Xiaochun was already ready and headed to the main hall. Su Baokai and Shen Xuanzi also flew to Reverse River Mountain. Zhang Dapin was very excited, walking as fast as he could, and Shen Manyao was equally eager. In the bloodstream lineage, Song Quest's face was pale, gnashing his teeth, but he also had to fly to Reverse River Mountain. The cultivators of the Reverse River sect also appeared. The news of them being taken hostage had spread, and everyone knew about it. If it weren't for the sect forbidding them from disturbing Bai Xiaochun probably wouldn't have had time to rest for days. All the cultivators of the Reverse River sect came out of their caves, all wanting to see Bai Xiaochun off. When Bai Xiaochun arrived at the main hall of Reverse River Mountain, he saw Han Zong and the nascent soul cultivators waiting there. He wasn't the first to arrive, as Gongsun Wanner had already arrived, smiling and greeting him. Bai Xiaochun already knew that Gongsun Wanner was also a hostage, but for some reason, Gongsun Wanner always made him feel strange and odd, so he only gave a forced smile in return. He noticed that Gongsun Wanner hadn't brought anyone with her and had come alone. Where is your guardian? Bai Xiaochun asked in surprise. I don't need one, Gongsun Wanner smiled. Bai Xiaochun was about to ask more questions when Shen Xuanzi and Su Baokai's group arrived one after another. Zhang Dapin and Shen Manya also came to stand beside him. The last to appear was Song Qiu. His face was pale, gloomy, and extremely upset as he walked to stand beside Shen Xuanzi. The cultivators of the Reverse River sect had all arrived, watching from afar to bid farewell. Bai Xiaochun saw Song Zhenlan, Hou Xiaomei, Hou Yanfei, He Sanpan, and many other familiar faces among them, making him feel miserable. He disliked the feeling of parting. It was the same back in the village. It was the same in the Lingxi sect, and now in the Reverse River sect. It was still the same. Bai Xiaochun was still wondering whether he should say a few words to comfort everyone when a powerful pressure emanated from within the hall, and the main hall doors silently opened. The young man in the crimson robe walked out of the main hall with his hands clasped behind his back. His figure was small, but his aura was immense, encompassing the heavens and earth. The oppressive power of a heavenly human realm expert silenced the entire Reverse River sect. The young man glanced at Bai Xiaochun and Gongsun Wanner, then nodded slightly. He pointed to the sky, his hands reaching out from the void, tearing open a rift. A giant, tens of thousands of feet tall, emerged from the rift, its sheer size causing everyone to gasp. Its massive body, tyrannical aura, and overflowing blood energy, though lacking the might of the blood ancestor, were enough to shake the heavens and earth. Mountains were like dolls compared to the giant, easily shattered by a single stomp. The giant bowed its head and knelt. "Master," a deep, booming voice echoed in all directions. With a slight flick of his sleeve, Bai Xiaochun's vision blurred, and he felt as if his body was being torn apart, but it vanished in an instant. When his vision cleared, he found himself standing on the head of that giant. No formation was needed. A mere wave of the hand was enough to teleport a person. Even a nascent soul cultivator could do this, but not with the same ease as breathing as the young boy. The giant's hair alone was enough to shock Bai Xiaochun. Each strand was like a giant tree, the head resembling a dense forest. Su Baokai shrieked, Zhang Daben's face turned pale, Shen Xuanzi trembled, Song Quest's breathing quickened. Chen Manyao was no better, only Gongsun Wanner remained calm. Bai Xiaochun looked down at the Reverse River sect and suddenly shouted, "I'm leaving. I'll be back." The young boy smiled at Bai Xiaochun, sat cross-legged on a strand of hair, and the giant stood up, leaping into the void and disappearing. The people of the Reverse River sect only saw half the sky rippling, then nothing more. Xiaochun! Above the middle reaches of the Tongshan River lies the eastern branch of the Tongshan River, vast and boundless. Its width so great that even the entire middle reaches of the cultivation world would pale in comparison. If one travels upstream along this river, they will reach the confluence of the river and the sea. This confluence is a colossal waterfall, taller than any mountain, its width seemingly endless. The area below where the waterfall flows is the eastern branch of the Tongshan River, and thus, above the waterfall lies the Tongshan Sea. The spiritual energy here is incredibly dense, beyond description. The mountain gate of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect is located here. However, it's not situated underground, but within the mist created by the waterfall lies a gigantic rainbow divided into 3 layers. The highest layer has only one rainbow, the second layer is divided into 2 on the left and right, and the final 4 colors are all on the 3rd layer, running parallel to each other. The Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect is none other than those 3 layers of rainbows. From afar, one can see many figures flying up and down the 3 layers of rainbows, but this is only a part of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. On the other side of the rainbows, beyond the waterfall, a gigantic, ancient warship is half hidden. The warship is pitch black, emitting a powerful and cold aura, with a shadowy figure lurking within. Below the waterfall, on both banks of the Tongshan River, are 4 super-sized cities. Each city is many times larger than the sects in the central region, enough to accommodate tens of millions of people. All of this is the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. Below the waterfall, there are 4 great cities. Above the waterfall, there is a 7-colored rainbow. Beyond the waterfall is the warship. From the void, a giant suddenly appeared, and Bai Xiaochun, perched on the giant's head, gazed at the magnificent panorama of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect with awe. He sensed that the spiritual energy here was extremely dense, almost thick, and the sheer concentration of spiritual power made it difficult for him to breathe, as he hadn't yet adapted. Everyone was in an uproar. How is this possible? Rainbows are unreal, but the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect is built within a rainbow. The divine calculator couldn't believe it. Rainbows are indeed unreal, but with a peerless demigod expert, it's naturally possible to make unreal things real and eternally exist. Chen Manya replied softly. Note, there are hierarchical divisions within this rainbow, from bottom to top. Starry Sky Dao Extreme, Human, Earth, and Heaven. The highest layer of the rainbow is Heaven. The 2 layers below are Earth and Human, and the 2 parallel rainbow layers at the very bottom are the Starry Sky Dao Extreme. We come from the Reverse River sect, not the Void River Academy, so the second rainbow of the 3rd layer is where we should be. Chen Manyao explained everything she knew. Those four fortresses below are merely the outer gates of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. The internal divisions within the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect are different from the hierarchical divisions in our sect, Chen Manyo continued. Even Gongsun Waner looked over curiously, listening attentively. This little girl knows quite a bit. The boy opened his eyes, looking at Chen Manyo. Senior, please don't blame me. Chen Manyo was startled. It's all right, anyway. Your knowledge helps save me time introducing you all. Listen carefully. The divisions in our Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect are completely different from your sect. But actually, there's no need for them to be the same. The Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect doesn't differentiate between outer and inner sects or core inheritances, but is divided into 7 tiers: red, orange, yellow, green, dark blue, sky blue, and purple. Anyone who enters the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, as long as they are below the nascent soul stage, must start as a disciple from the red tier upwards. Here, cultivation level isn't considered, only contribution points matter. Once you have enough contribution points, you can be promoted. Newcomers don't have the qualifications to reside in the rainbow. Only yellow-robed disciples can ascend to the rainbow and leave the ground. The cold-eyed figure said, and the giant beneath him entered the second city on the left bank of the Tongshan River waterfall. All right, this is the Void City, where you will stay. From now on, how things turn out depends on each person's fate. Take this jade slip, and someone will arrange things for you inside the city. The young disciple stood up, threw a jade slip to Bai Xiaochun, waved his hand, pushing Bai Xiaochun and his group away from the giant. The giant tore through the void, jumped into it, and disappeared. The young disciple, meanwhile, appeared on the second layer of the Rainbow Bridge. Bai Xiaochun looked at the city, bustling with people coming and going, then looked up at the Rainbow Bridge above the waterfall, his breathing gradually stabilizing. This place was too vast, making him feel completely unfamiliar. Everyone stood alone outside the city, filled with the feeling of being a stranger in a foreign land. The 4 great cities are, in order, Star City, Void City, Dao City, and Extreme City. Here, don't underestimate anyone. There are many people with very strong cultivation, but because their contribution points aren't enough, they are still only orange-robed disciples and can't ascend the Rainbow Bridge. In the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, below the nascent soul stage, everyone is a disciple, regardless of cultivation level, only by the color of their robes. These 7 colors are the famous 7 colors of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. Chen Manyo continued to introduce. With her around, Bai Xiaochun and his group gradually learned some basic things about the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. What qualifications are needed to live on the first and second levels of the Rainbow Bridge? Gongsun Waner suddenly asked. Chen Manyo, who was extremely wary of Gongsun Waner, immediately answered upon hearing the question. The first rainbow layer is the Heavenly Rainbow, the residence of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect's only demigod ancestor. The 2 below, Left Earth and Right Human, are occupied by the Heavenly Human Realm, and the Human Rainbow is the residence of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect's Sect Master, also serving as a training ground. The most terrifying thing is the ancient worship behind the waterfall. The 4 major sects at the source each possess one, formed from the Tongshan Sea, incredibly mysterious, and its power unpredictable. Chen Manyo said this, looking at Bai Xiaochun, not mentioning the savage wilderness. This was something only she and Bai Xiaochun knew. Bai Xiaochun seemed lost in thought, and Gongsun Waner smiled, not asking any further questions. Let's go, since we're already here. We should go inside. Bai Xiaochun raised his head and led everyone to the city gate. As they approached, an invisible ripple swept over the 7 of them. The jade slip given to Bai Xiaochun by the young man glowed brightly, and the 7 were instantly teleported into the city. They appeared in the main hall of a building in the middle of the city. Before the 7 of them could even get a good look around, a cold voice rang out. Hostage Bai Xiaochun, hostage Gongsun Waner, here are your identity tokens, and the red robes, identity tokens, and necessary items for guardians are all inside. From now on, you are disciples of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. 2 empty storage bags appeared, flying towards Bai Xiaochun and Gongsun Waner. As soon as they took them, before they could even examine them closely, they were propelled out of the main hall and onto the street. Bai Xiaochun was bewildered. Su Beokai and Zhang Dabin were repeatedly teleported, their faces turning pale. Song Qiu and Shen Swanzi fared slightly better, only Chen Manyo seemed accustomed to it, unaffected. However, no one was used to this cold reception from the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect. I am a hostage. Bai Xiaochun was displeased and roared towards the main hall. Bai Xiaochun roared, but no one in the main hall bothered to answer him. The divine calculators exchanged glances. Bai Xiaochun was very dissatisfied. He had thought that a hostage of such importance should be treated like a hostage. Are you saying that's right or not? I'm a hostage. Bai Xiaochun angrily asked Zhang Dapan, who coughed, looked at him, and said nothing. Well, the essence of this matter is to endure it. What do you think we should do now? Bai Xiaochun sighed, looking at the divine calculator. Well, I think we should familiarize ourselves with the surroundings first. The divine calculator cautiously replied. Su Baokai and Zhang Dapan sighed and nodded. Chen Manyao said nothing. Gongsun Water chuckled softly without speaking, and Songquest's face remained pale, not looking at anyone. Bai Xiaochun felt a headache just looking at them. There was no way to deal with the whole group, so he had no choice but to follow Shen Xuanzi's instructions and start walking. After walking for a while, Bai Xiaochun and everyone else were so captivated by the sights of the city that they forgot their earlier discomfort. This was the headwaters area, densely populated, not only with disciples of the Starry Sky Dao extreme sect, but also with people from various powerful families. However, the people here were very strange. Bai Xiaochun didn't see anyone fat, most were thin, some almost skin and bones. Everyone walked very quickly, and their cultivation levels were extremely peculiar, not revealing anything at all. If Bai Xiaochun hadn't also been a golden core cultivator, he wouldn't have been able to tell that they were all cultivators of the same realm. Secondly, everything was available here. Bai Xiaochun saw that they sold spirit treasures, a wide variety of elixirs, various magical artifacts, and ancient texts. Everything was there. There's also a type called spiritual food with countless rare treasures and the flesh and blood of ferocious beasts, incredibly diverse in species, and ridiculously high prices that most cultivators grit their teeth to buy. The prices here are so high that Bai Xiaochun had prepared a lot of spirit stones before coming here, but now, after calculating, he realized that even that much money wasn't enough to buy some of the things he craved. But what frightened Bai Xiaochun and his group the most was that after walking for several hours, they all felt hungry. This phenomenon terrified everyone because, for cultivators, after reaching the foundation establishment stage, they should be fasting. And the spiritual energy here is so dense that they shouldn't need to eat. Just breathing the spiritual energy should be enough to satisfy them. But now they felt a hunger they hadn't felt in a long time, and it was getting stronger and stronger. What's going on? I'm hungry. Bai Xiaochun patted his stomach, looking at Chen Manyao in astonishment. Chen Manyao was also stunned, thought for a moment, took out a jade slip, and spoke to the person inside. After a long while, she looked up in surprise. Did any of you notice that our cultivation seems to have increased slightly? Everyone quickly looked inside their clothes. Indeed, their cultivation had increased a little, but it was very small. They were also captivated by the surrounding scenery, so no one paid attention. That's because we're too close to the Tongshan Sea. The spiritual energy here is so dense that it's invading and disrupting our internal organs. This not only causes our cultivation speed to increase dramatically, but also greatly increases our consumption rate. That's why we feel hungry. This shows that our consumption has exceeded our cultivation level, so we can't store up enough food in time. Chen Manyao explained, and Bai Xiaochun's stomach began to rumble. Bai Xiaochun's expression changed. Besides death, his greatest fear in life was hunger. Back in Xiangyun Mountain, while cultivating the immortal longevity technique, he nearly starved to death. After reaching the foundation establishment stage, he no longer suffered from hunger, but now it was happening again, making him tremble. Moreover, I just asked an acquaintance and learned that in this city, we need a lot of food every day to replenish our energy, and it has to be spiritual food. Chen Manyao smiled wryly. So, don't we have to eat non-stop? Zhang Dapang was horrified. Both he and Bai Xiaochun were obsessed with hunger. Unless we become yellow robe disciples, fly up the rainbow, and have the rainbow's energy to absorb it, only then can we solve this problem. Chen Manyao sighed, frowning. She was hungry too. Gongsun Water touched her stomach, licked her lips, and smiled softly. Since that's the case, I have to go find something to eat. We'll meet again later. She waved goodbye to everyone and walked into the crowd. Young master, what should we do now? I'm hungry too. Shen Swazi stared at Bai Xiaochun, as did Subeokai, and even Songkyu couldn't help but look at Bai Xiaochun. Just bear with it a little longer. I think we should find a place to stay first. Then we can worry about eating later. Bai Xiaochun gloomily patted his pocket. Shen Swazi and the others understood this, taking out their storage bags and swallowing some pills to alleviate their hunger. The six quickly found the accommodation arranged for disciples of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, but all the cave dwellings had to be rented, not bought or sold. Looking at the rental price, his eyes widened. This is too expensive. The cultivator in charge of the place, a disciple in orange robes, coldly looked at Bai Xiaochun, not bothering to answer. The price was exorbitant. Those who could afford to stay here were certainly either rich or noble. Ordinary people shouldn't even dream of it. Having no other choice, Bai Xiaochun and the others had to rent the cheapest accommodation available. By the time they got inside the room, it was already dark. The lodging was very simple, even simpler than Bai Xiaochun's old dwelling in the village. Yet the 6-month rent had already used up half of the sect's spirit stones. A whole day had passed, and everyone was getting hungrier and hungrier. Their stomachs rumbled, and Bai Xiaochun sighed, handing the bag of spirit stones to Shen Swazi, telling him to buy some spiritual food. Shen Swazi was excited and quickly flew away, returning soon with a considerable amount of food. Everyone ate quietly. Bai Xiaochun sat eating, his longing for the reverse river sect growing stronger. Nothing happened during the night, but early the next morning, Bai Xiaochun's breathing exercises were interrupted by hunger for the first time. He opened his eyes and saw that Songkyu and the others had all become noticeably thinner. Damn it, this place is too strange. How can we survive like this? Bai Xiaochun panicked. He was so hungry his vision was blurry, and he quickly gave Shen Swazi the spirit stones to buy more food. The first day passed like that, then the next, the third, the fourth. During these 4 days, everyone went out, and when they returned, everyone was frowning. They were all noticeably thinner. Soup outside was just skin and bones. But that wasn't the worst part. The most terrifying thing was that Bai Xiaochun discovered his spirit stones were depleted, and he only had 2 days left at most. You have to find a way out. This won't do. You are my protectors. You have to earn money to support me, Bai Xiaochun said. As soon as he finished speaking, Songkyu jumped up, very decisively. I've had enough. Bai Xiaochun, I've had enough. What kind of protector are you? I'm not doing it. I, Songkyu, will solve my own survival problems. From now on, you are you, and I am me. Isn't that what you call contribution points? I'm not as good as you in the Bloodstream sect, nor am I as good as you in the Reverse River sect. Here, I will definitely use my own strength to become a yellow-robed disciple and ascend to the rainbow. Songkyu shouted. Bai Xiaochun glared, about to speak, when the divine calculator also stood up.